sleet, nor dark, nor all this goddamn Texas rain will stop.
The RageCast.
The RageSelect podcast. The RageSelect podcast. Yeah, the RageCast. That's when I invite a bunch of you crazy people into my house and do fundraisers. But
it's been a while.
I've been able to do that for a while. Kind of went out of style during in 2020 for some reason. I don't know what happened. Like just stop doing it, kinda. And then
it's because Zoom died or something.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome back everybody to the RageSelect podcast here on RageSelect. I'm Jeff,
and I'm Mike.
We got a weird news this week. Last week we had a lot of shaking my hand at corporations. I feel like there's a fair amount of that this week, but we got some other weird stuff as well. So yeah, I don't know how this is gonna go. It's probably gonna be real weird, but that's never stopped us in the past. So let's see
how it goes.
Yeah, but before we get started, actually, speaking of natural disasters, that new King Kong Godzilla movie was on VOD this week. And even though I'm a hateful bitch who has disliked pretty much every other one of those movies, I did sit down to watch it because I'm a sucker for punishment. I do like it when Godzilla does stuff. So, Did you watch that? Did you watch it?
I actually did not.
Okay.
I was surprisingly I didn't. I kept meaning to, and I just never did.
What's your status on the quote unquote monsterverse?
The monsterverse?
Yeah.
I have a love-hate relationship with the monsterverse.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of stuff I really love about it, but there's a lot of things that are just dumb as shit. About it, and I don't mean that as in this is dumb fun. I'm like no, you guys, you're not really thinking about anything about what's happening here, because it's the instance where everybody it works on the thought process that a lot of people have, which are like human characters don't matter kind of thing, and for some people that's great, and for me that's not great.
Well, so the way my general overall opinion about the MonsterVerse has been, like, Matt and I get in this conversation all the time where I'm like, I like watching the big monsters hit each other, right? Now, that's not to say that if the people are doing something interesting that I would watch the people, but for the MonsterVerse, for me, they're not.
They're not. They're definitely not doing anything interesting.
It's like somebody running away from, like the first one was a bunch of people running away from Godzilla. And I was like, okay, but do I care about them? No? Oh, okay. Well, then why don't we just focus on Godzilla at this point?
Yeah, it's funny because the 2014 one was like, Bryan Cranston's, he's really got me.
Yeah.
He's so interesting.
Yep.
And then he's dead. And then everybody else is not interesting at all.
The last two, or before this one, so it was Godzilla vs. Kong, and then was it King of the Monsters?
Yeah,
with Ghidorah or whatever.
That one has a really dumb plot.
Oh my god, yes.
The plot is so dumb.
Yes.
But it's got a great soundtrack.
I'm like, you guys. Those are both, to me, I watch those and I'm just like, the Monarch shit is so fucking silly, especially in Godzilla versus Kong, where it's just like, ooh, the Hollow Earth. Michael, I don't know what it is about the Hollow Earth, but I'm gonna say right now, I don't give a shit about the Hollow Earth. Like, there's no buildings in the Hollow Earth for monsters to throw each other into.
No.
Like, it's just a big jungle with another jungle copy and pasted on top of it instead of, like, the sky. And it's like, well, okay. Like, if this was in the Amazon rainforest, would this be any appreciably different? And the answer is like, no, it would not be.
But you're inside the Earth, Jeff.
Yeah,
it's so different.
You got to go into the Earth, which takes like 5 minutes. And it doesn't do anything, and it's fine. So I watched this latest one, and here's what I'll say. Normally, I'm fucking Team Godzilla. That might have been why I really didn't like the last movie, because they had like all the stuff with King Kong and the little girl, and they're going to the Earth. I just said I don't like the Hollow Earth, but like, the big monkey's got eyeballs and he's being sympathetic, and there's a little girl and he's friends with a little girl. Meanwhile, on the Godzilla side, it was fucking ridiculous. It was like this, conspiracy, and this giant corporation is taking a Godzilla bones and is making a Mecha Godzilla. The guy's got a psychic helmet that lets him drive a Mecha Godzilla, and I'm just like, you guys thought about just buying like bombs? Like you need like a big metal crane to punch Godzilla? Is that the only way that you could think of to fight a Godzilla?
Well, Jeff, every movie is like bombs don't work on Godzilla, so we need to make giant robots.
Sure, that'll punch the Godzilla. Yeah. Everybody knows the only way to fight a Metal Gear is with another Metal Gear, right?
That's how Metal Gear Solid 4 works.
That's how Metal Gear works. I learned that Metal Gear Solid 2. I've never forgotten it. Okay, in this one, King Kong is real sad because he didn't have any people anymore, and he's in the Hollow Earth, and he finds out, there might be some more monkeys in the Hollow Earth. And so, you know what? That part of that movie, that part was pretty good. That little girl from the first one, she's back. She doesn't have any people. All her people were on Skull Island. They're dead. Well, she might have some people, too. Who knows? We got to go to the Hollow Earth. We got to have an adventure. They even brought back the conspiracy guy from the last one. So all that... I enjoyed. The big monkey makes, he makes faces. He gets irritated sometimes. He's just a guy. Like, it's not an actual monkey because he's like sarcastic and he's like, he has an irritated face that he makes. And I'm like, okay, fine. On the other hand, Godzilla is nothing in this movie. He's just, it could have been anything. You could have taken Godzilla out of this movie entirely, and it wouldn't have changed the movie very much at all.
I was reading on a lot of people's explanations for it. They're like, the explanation is like, what if Kong is having like this fantastical adventure?
Yeah.
And then what if Godzilla was like, it's kind of like, okay, when you play Symphony of the Night and then you finish it and then you unlock Richter mode.
Yeah.
Tilla's Richter mode.
Right.
Because all he is just murdering everything.
Yeah.
And there's no plot going on.
Yeah.
He's just murdering everything.
There's even a scene where he has to fight another Titan, right? They're not kaijus, they're Titans. He has to fight another Titan, and it's literally like he just murks him, like, and then we see the aftermath, and we don't actually see the part where the cool thing happens.
Oh, okay.
We see kind of like a dramatic shot around where the cool thing. I'm trying to be like vague. Just
it's gonna be coy.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, and then also I don't know if it's a spoiler or not. I don't think so because of the trailers, but like, I also wish that the MonsterVerse, like, for one of the things that I enjoyed about the King of the Monsters was like Ghidorah. He's got 3 heads and he's a fucking outer space weirdo. Rodan's like a pterodactyl. Mothra's a giant bug. And this one, it's like, what if there was another monkey that was a bad monkey? And I'm like, well, is he like a skeleton monkey? And they're like, nope, just a kind of different, slightly different monkey than the monkey that you've seen before.
Yeah,
he looks worse.
Yeah,
he looks worse than the monkey that you're into. And
he's a crackhead.
Like what? Yeah. What if there was another giant monkey that did meth? And you're like,
and had a bone whip.
And then there's like another thing that I don't want to get into because it's a spoiler of just like, I don't know. You know what I miss? I miss shit like the smog monster.
Oh, okay.
Or like even the Muto from the first one. Weird shit.
Oh, okay.
Not just like, okay, it's either a lizard or a monkey or some variant on a snake. And those are the 3 ideas we have for giant monsters. And I'm like, well, what about, at least the last one had a giant robot Godzilla in addition to regular Godzilla.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Like, you're not getting me. I'm still waiting for Godzilla -1. That's the one I want to see.
Okay.
I like Godzilla more than I like King Kong anyway.
-1 apparently is the most pirated movie in the world right now.
Wait, you can pirate Godzilla -1?
It's because it's in Japan's like Amazon or something.
Is it out in Japan on Blu-ray?
Apparently, something like that.
Oh,
it's either on Blu-ray, but it's or on streaming in Japan. So everybody's just been pirating the absolute shit out of it.
Well, okay,
because of it.
Well, it's okay. We had a short podcast this week. I will talk to you all later. I have something I have to do that is totally unrelated to what you just said. I have to go now to another computer that has a VPN on it for no reason.
No explanations.
No explanations.
No reasons.
No. Don't ask me any. I will tell me no lies. Well, those motherfuckers have been sitting on that goddamn movie, right? Like that movie should have been out already on VOD.
That's the reason why it's been such an issue is because the reason I found out is because people were like shaming each other.
Right.
Like, shame on you for not buying it. It's like, yeah, but we can't.
I would if you would let me.
Yeah, like there's a bunch of people in countries they're like, it never came out here.
Yeah.
And it still hasn't come out here.
I'm waiting for
what do you want me to do?
I'm waiting for The Boy and the Heron for like 9 months.
Yeah.
Come on, you assholes. Like, I fucking put it out. Let me give you my money, you fucking dorks. It's not in the theater. It's not anywhere.
Yeah, take my money.
Shut up.
But you won't let me take my money.
And when that happens, then, I have to put on an eye patch and get out my parrot. And
it's the only way.
That's a metaphor for when I cook sourdough. and definitely don't do anything on a computer with a VPN attached to it. Anyway, I don't know. It was like if you subtract that, it was like 1 hour and 55 minutes, and I had like 10 minutes of credit. So like at the end of the day, it was about an hour and 45 minutes.
Okay.
Shit happened. I didn't really care as much about the people, but like they really did a good job of paring it down into one small group.
Oh, okay.
Instead of like this fucking world hopping crisscross Millie Bobby Browns in Japan and the fucking Stellan Scar. Was that Scars guy in the last one? Was he one of the ones?
No.
Or was a guy that looked like him?
He looked similar, but I don't remember who it was.
It was like the mom and the girl and the pretty guy go to Hollow Earth, and we got to keep cutting back and forth between. And here it was just like every 20 minutes we're just going to cut over to see what Godzilla is doing. And it was like, yep, that's Godzilla for you. He's just tearing shit up.
Somebody did the math, and he's like in like 10 or 15 minutes that entire movie.
He gets all Super Saiyan at one point. He just
apparently, because I'm also going to bring this up, is that the director or whoever was like, we actually based that on the Kaioken.
Oh,
he because people were asking him about it. He's like, was that based on Super Saiyan Rose? Like, believe it or not, no, it was based on the Kaioken. I was like, I love you, nerds.
Yeah. Anyway, there's also a little monkey. It's like a little monkey boy.
I keep seeing the gif of Kong using him as a weapon.
Yeah.
And it makes me laugh every time.
He's hitting monkeys with monkeys. It's a monkey wielding a monkey hitting some other monkeys. And I was like, this is my favorite part of this movie, is when the monkey grabs another monkey and then hits another monkey with a smaller monkey. And I was like, okay, this I can get on board with.
100%.
Unfortunately, he does not use him as a club for the entire rest of the movie. He has to use his dumb axe thing. And also
he should have taped the monkey to the axe.
There's another plot point in this movie that's so fucking stupid that I paused the movie and messaged Matt Frank and said, "Did that just fucking happen?" And he was like, "Yeah." Oh, also one last thing. For some reason, whenever they're in the Hollow Earth, they shot the movie through like a fisheye lens. It's very weird.
That is weird.
Like
because they're inside the Earth, Jeff.
But the thing is that they don't do it all the time, because if you cut to a wide shot with a fisheye lens, it's very clear.
Yeah.
But then like there was a point. I was like, am I seeing this because the background was blurry and very like warped? It's like, why is it so blurry and warped whenever they go to the people on the ground in the Hollow Earth? And then there was a scene where the characters are walking through these like ruins, and there were like two pillars on the, like it was like the camera was shooting between two pillars, and those pillars were like arcs. And I was like, I know that's not how rocks work, okay?
No,
like,
they're not supposed to work like that, at least.
But it was weird because it kept like it was just there for a little while, and then would go away, and then it would come back, and I'd be like, why does this keep turning into like a skateboarding video from 1995? Like, I don't understand why you're doing it like this.
The Lords of the Hollow Earth, they called it.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry, I've taken up a billion years to complain about giant monsters. Michael, what have you been up to? You mean anything good?
Speaking of giant monsters, I guess. So Matt Frank did an episode of Junk Food Cinema with Brian on 1954's Godzilla.
Yes.
And so I decided to listen to that. And then, so while doing that, I decided to do something else that I know Matt would like, is I played Jurassic Park for the Nintendo on that collection they came out with.
Oh, yeah.
A while back.
This was a side-scroller one, right?
It's
you
like
can play as a raptor.
It's like a top-down, because it's the old Nintendo one.
Oh. I was thinking of the Genesis one.
Yeah, you're thinking of the Genesis one, which is also on there, but like I wasn't the one I was playing.
Yeah.
And so it's just the little Alan Grant with a big gun walking around. And it's easier because it tells you, it has a map that you can look at to be like, where am I going, that kind of thing. And you can rewind, so if you get stomped on a bunch of shit. That fucking T-Rex battle is so stupid because you can't get the kid to like listen to you to save your life. Like literally. And it was ridiculous. So I listened to that, and then the other thing I did was I told you I was gonna do, which was I went home and I downloaded the Spider-Man. It was the PS1 one, but it was the PC port of that game. And since it's an old game, I spent like 30 minutes troubleshooting it. And
wait, which Spider-Man game?
The old 2001 one.
Oh, okay.
That was based on like the actual comic stuff, not the movie ones or anything like that.
Okay.
And the only way I can get the sound works, I had to have headphones on. It wouldn't work outside of that.
Okay.
And when it recognized my PS5 controller, it didn't recognize the triggers. So the swing button was the start button.
I feel like you should have worked more to make this work.
It was like 10 o'clock at night and I had to work the next day.
Yeah.
But I also played for like an hour.
Okay.
Like even knowing, even like having that.
Even having to hit the start button to swing a web?
To swing, yeah. Because it's not like the PS4 one where you have to hold it down and like to keep moving. You just hit it and then he swings for a bit and then he hits the wall or whatever.
Okay.
So it hasn't been that much of an issue, but I do plan on fucking with it later. But no, that's pretty much what I've been up to this week. At least.
Crappy old video games, and podcasts.
It's a silent. It's it's a quiet life.
Well, that sounds good. Well, I tell you what, maybe we have some stuff here on this RageSelect podcast that will convince you to play games that weren't made 25 years ago. And that starts with the fact that this week we got the official world premiere trailer of Assassin's Creed Shadows, previously known as Assassin's Creed Red. This is the next Assassin's Creed game set in feudal Japan.
Yes, it is.
So... yeah.
What can we talk about that's not the weird people arguments that are going on?
Weird people are exhausting. They exhaust me, and I'm exhausted.
Yes.
I'm already exhausted.
Just thinking about them, I'm exhausted.
Yeah. So, okay, let's see. No gameplay in this whatsoever. No indication of what kind of game. Is it like Mirage? Is it like fucking Odyssey or Valhalla? Like, is it an RPG? Is it skill based? What we do know is that there are two protagonists. One is a lady that is a ninja whose village got wiped out by dudes by Lord Ito during the consolidation reconstruction period. I don't know what they call it exactly.
I'm not sure either.
And then the other one is who's that guy?
He is a
Yasuke.
a real person.
Real person.
Which is what's interesting about him being a protag to Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Because usually they like using people who did not exist.
Right.
So they can make up whatever they want. So it's more interesting that it is like an actual character or an actual person in real historical history.
Yeah.
Which is why it's so interesting that they even decided to do something like that.
He is a lot of people have heard this story before. He was a black samurai. He's a guy that came to Japan.
There's a super popular Netflix thing about him right now, apparently.
Oh, really? Like
a documentary?
I don't know. But are you talking about Afro Samurai? That's not a documentary, Michael.
Not that. Also, that was an Adult Swim show. Some people were talking about because some people were like, he's obscure. They're like, no, he's not. Like, he has a Netflix thing right now. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Kind of thing. So good for them.
So apparently, from the description, I was reading a little bit about it. It's going to kind of play like Syndicate, where you have the two characters and you can cut between them.
Oh, okay.
The ninja lady is going to be more of your traditional Assassin's Creed stealthy, and then this guy is going to be more of a big bruiser. They kind of have a action sequence in this cutscene where he's using a giant mace to just kind of fuck people up. And they're going to join forces to do...
Assassiny things.
Yeah. She got revenge. He's got some kind of beef. I think from the trailer, the indication seems to be that they don't respect him very much there, which okay, sure, that makes sense as a plot point. Michael, okay, all right, those are the basics.
Oh yeah,
those are the basics. Jesus Christ, does nothing for me. It does nothing.
Well, the reason it does nothing for me is I stopped caring about Assassin's Creed a very long time ago.
Not only that, but how many games has Team Ninja put out where you're some kind of we have Ghost of Tsushima, we've got what was that one that just came out? Way of the Samurai? No, what was it called? The Team Ninja one.
The Ronin, Way of the Ronin.
Way of the Ronin. Yeah. Where it's that's an open world game. Ghost of Tsushima, very well respected.
Like a Dragon Ishin.
Right, like a Dragon Ishin. Yeah. We're not exactly over here just you know what I can't find, Michael, is a game where you get to play as a samurai in Japan.
Yeah. There's just not enough of them.
There's just not enough of them. I mean, okay, this could be good, but then the other problem that I have is that, one, Assassin's Creed Valhalla came out and it was too fucking long, so I didn't play it. And then Assassin's Creed Mirage came out and they were like, oh, we're going to it's going to be a throwback. It's going to be like old Assassin's Creed, and it's going to have this guy that you like, and yada yada yada. And it looked like asshole.
Yeah.
It looked like absolute and total garbage shit. I don't know why there weren't more like think pieces written on the internet. Like, can you guys believe that Ubisoft has the gall to charge money for these graphics in the year fucking 2023?
Yeah, it looked like it was made in 2008.
Yeah.
Which is like, how did you do that?
Yes, it looked like a PS3. It looked worse than Valhalla.
Yeah.
Like, how did it look worse than Valhalla? How did it look worse than the Avatar game? They're all on the same fucking engine. How did you do that? Like,
I have no idea.
Just rush it out. I did read a story that 15 Ubisoft studios are working on this game.
15?
15 different Ubisoft studios are working on this game. And I think it's because, well, I don't know. We'll talk about it a little later, but like Ubisoft, I don't know. I feel like they have no idea what the fuck they're doing anymore. Like, I don't know.
They lost the thread a long time ago.
Yeah. So here's the thing, man. Like, I need evidence that it's going to look like a good video game that can run in the year 2024, because it's supposed to come out in November. Right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, it's like the release date of November of the. Well, no, let me make sure of that. It was in the last trailer, right? It says at the very end. It says, wait, that's okay.
That's them talking about it.
That's some fucking reactionary channel. Yeah, November 15th, 2024, this year.
That's not that far.
I mean, they announced it like, 2 years ago, right?
Did they even? I don't remember that at all, to be honest.
No, they had
Red, that's right.
Right, when it was Red. When
I
they had
completely
the thing.
forgot that was that they even announced anything.
So it's coming out this year, and like, okay, it's all well and good that you guys have a nice cinematic trailer and you're saying all these things about all these things, but like, I need to fucking see what this video game looks like. You need to show me what this game is like, because quite frankly, I've put my hand on the hot stove that is Ubisoft way too many times. I will say I looked up the LinkedIn for the director because I wanted to see like what because they have a little who are Naue and Yasuke, a little featurette, and they had the director there. So I looked his name up to see like, what have you done? And he was one of the higher ups on Phoenix Rising. So like, and I really liked Phoenix Rising. Yeah. Also, he was, I think, one of the higher ups on Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and I really did like Syndicate as well. I thought Syndicate was pretty fun.
Sure.
Hey, man, you got to wear a top hat instead of a dumb hoodie.
That is true.
Your base was a train.
Yeah, the main issue is I stopped caring about Assassin's Creed pretty quickly, and it's mostly because it seemed like they just stopped caring about Assassin's Creed, and like, by that I mean like the story, like they didn't know what to do after 3 ended.
Right.
Like, so what do we do? I'm like, I don't know. You're a game developer? Question mark. I don't know.
The through line got kind of thrown away.
Yeah.
After a while, and you're just like, well, okay.
Like, what even happened with the Eden stuff? Like, did it ever get resolved? Any of that?
Dude, I don't fucking know. Probably in Assassin's Creed Valhalla or Odyssey or Origins, none of which I played all the way to the end. It used to be like I couldn't wait for a new Assassin's Creed to come out. I played Black Flag all the way to the end.
Yeah.
I played fucking, Syndicate all the way to the end. I played 2. I played 3. I played the spinoff. And then it was just like, it just became this incredibly long, incredibly dull chore. And nothing that Ubisoft has shown me over the last few years has convinced me that this new game isn't just going to be another long, dull chore.
No, and I mean that, and I mean this in the best way, Ubisoft. You should just stop. Just take like a couple years off for Assassin's Creed and really think about what you're supposed to be doing with this plotline. You don't know what you're doing anymore.
You know what I think they should do is, I think that there's 2 things they need to do. One is they have got to start taking chances with this franchise, all of their franchises.
Yes.
Far Cry, everything. It's all so samey, and it's all the same as the last one. It's all similar to each other. It's like, it's very narrow across the board, and I want them to just take some chances to be like, I don't know, this one's got like RTS elements in it, or like this one's turn-based, or this one's a visual novel or something. Like try something besides just making Assassin's Creed game number, what is this, like 25, and it's just like somewhat similar to the last one.
Yeah, I haven't cared about Ubisoft all that much in a very long time.
Yeah,
like the Prince of Persia thing was one of the last times I felt like they kind of took a chance, but even then it was just doing a side scroller of Prince of Persia again, and then and then they announced another Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, you're trying to do something at least with some of this stuff.
Okay,
but,
good that you brought that up because both of those are actually them taking chances.
Yeah,
but like,
whereas like everything else, I feel like they haven't done that at all. Like Far Cry, the closest they tried was they made that post-apocalyptic one.
Dawn, New Dawn, or Far Dawn, or
New Dawn, I think
Cry.
it was. And then I hated 5 because 5's plot. Like I liked the gameplay of 5, but 5's plot was so bad.
Well, it's just the same thing.
And then it was also just like getting kidnapped every 20 minutes.
It's just the same fucking thing. But like all the previous Far Cry, Far Cry 3 had Voss, who was interesting, and Far Cry 4 had the religious dude, and that guy was interesting, even if it was kind of ridiculous, but he's still kind of interesting. Giancarlo Esposito was like nothing. He was just like a cackling.
You're talking about 6?
Oh, I'm talking about 6. Yeah, 5 was
the religious thing.
Oh, 5 was a religious one.
Which I hate that game.
That
game was just like, well, like I liked it, and then it was just bad. Like, it has the worst ending of all of them.
Terrible ending. Yeah,
both endings are just terrible.
Oh yeah, 4 was the 5 was America. 4 was good.
4 was good.
4 was good. 4 was the one in Nepal, I think, right? Where you had the
Nepalish area. It's like
pagan men. Yeah. That was good. I like that one.
And then 5, like I feel like 4 is where it peaked. 5, like it had some good stuff in it, but it was story wise it was terrible. And then 6, no one talks about 6.
Nobody talks about 6. Nothing even happens.
No.
Nothing even happens in 6. Like, I don't know,
which is crazy.
Anyway, so a new Assassin's Creed game. I don't know. Are you guys excited for this? Can somebody make me excited? I mean, maybe
I don't know.
Maybe the thing is that it's just like, again, this is Assassin's Creed 20, and there's very few games let's see. Okay, let's. Mainline entries 1, 2, 3, Black Flag, Syndicate, Unity.
The Unity was before Syndicate.
Okay, Unity, Syndicate. It's still 6. Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, Mirage. That's at least 10.
It's at least 10, yeah.
Not counting the spin-offs or DLCs. So if this is Assassin's Creed 11, it's just like there are very few franchises that I am down to keep playing up to 11 if you don't change it up a little bit and make something different.
All I'm saying is Assassin's Creed, people not realizing this, peaked when the final boss was a fist fight with the Pope. I'm just saying. And that was part 2. Like, where do you go from fist fight with the Pope?
No, I'm going to say there were 3 part 2s, so that's up to 12 now. We're up to 13.
There's 2 Brotherhood, and I already forgot what the last one was for that.
Revelations?
That sounds right.
I don't remember. Anyway, I don't know. Like, again, you guys, I'm not going to say I'm not completely uninterested in this. I'm just going to say that you picked a very generic time period way past when it would have been a good time to do this. People wanted this, like, after 3.
Oh, it was the thing that everybody kept going, why isn't this a thing?
Right.
For years.
Rogue. Assassin's Creed Rogue. That's 14.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's also a spinoff, too, technically.
I guess unless you count the PSP game, that'd be 15. The one with...
Sure, I guess.
That was interesting. That was cool.
That's the problem. It's hard to not, like... Because they're all supposed to connect to each other.
Oh, and then there were the 3 side-scroller games. That's 18. So I was not wrong when I was getting up into the 20s.
Yeah. Like, the thing is that you weren't... Like, originally... Like, if we're just counting all the games, then we're getting up to the 20s.
Yeah.
I know there's a couple others, but I don't... Because there is a... Oh, and there's ports, too, but I'm not counting those kind of thing. But...
There's, like, extended DLCs and stuff. I don't know. Show me more. Like, show me what the actual gameplay looks like, and then explain to me why I shouldn't play Ghost of Tsushima instead.
Yeah, which is so good, guys.
I really like that game a lot. But we will get to Ghost of Tsushima. We will get to Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah. A few other things we have here. There was kind of a bit of a kerfuffle. I don't really know why, or I do know why, but still. So Assassin's Creed. Shadows will require a connection to the internet day one, even if you have a disc. Like, the disc will ship with a broken version of the game. In order to get it to run, you will have to download the day one patch. Now, Ubisoft has done this before. They did this with the Avatar game and a few other places.
Oh, okay.
But it's still just bad practice to, like, say we're not even shooting to ship a game that can work out of the box. It's like you're going to put the game in, and then you cannot start the game without downloading a patch, like on day one. It's like, well, why are you even shipping? You're just shipping me garbage.
Yeah.
And then inside of it, there's like a code that I can put in to download a patch.
The point of the disc should be that it should run without any of that stuff.
Right.
And the fact that you're going against that is really weird.
Yeah.
But also so Ubisoft.
Yes.
Is the thing.
Yes, 100%. I mean, and I'm not opposed to day one patches or anything. Like, but that whole kerfuffle was Stellar Blade, and like the 1.0 disc version had the unpatched booby outfit on it, and people were like, I'm just going to play the disc version. I don't know. I'm of the impression that you should be able to put in the disc of the thing you bought and play without connecting to the internet.
Yeah.
At the bare minimum, like just the bare minimum. Otherwise, why even sell me a disc? It's worthless. It's garbage. So, but at least they did say that, like, you put the disc in, you download the day one patch, you disconnect from the internet, it will run fine. It's not going to keep trying to ping home.
Yeah.
But you do have to have a mandatory day one patch. So,
hooray for them? Question mark.
And you know what? This is something I haven't brought up in a while, but I do want to put it out there on Front Street. I really, really think that if this is the way the video game industry wants to work, okay, whatever. I know that some people don't have internet. I feel bad for them, but like,
we have a console for you. It's called the Xbox 360.
Right.
Sorry, that's a very old reference.
But if you do require a day one patch, you should give me the option to go onto the store page for your game and download that patch 4 days before I have the disc.
That would be very nice.
And then when I put the disc in, it's just like applying patch, done, boom. That way you don't have to wait for the day the thing comes out. You don't have to wait until it's in your console. Just let me download the patch before the game comes out.
The patches killed the midnight release. A lot of people just... It frustrates me that that's just what happens now.
Mm-hmm. We also found out that this is going to be the first Assassin's Creed game in quite some time that will not be on previous gen consoles.
Oh, good for
So
them.
it's going to be native to PS5 and Xbox Series X, which I believe is going to mean that it's going to run like ass on both of them because since they're not going to have to make something that could run on old hardware, they're going to push it to the limit, and it's going to run at 30 frames per second and drop a bunch of frames and be garbage. There's going to be performance mode that looks like absolute shit.
Here's the thing, Jeff. They have to make it also work on a Series S.
Well, that's true.
So they might have that limiter on them still.
That's true. But this is the first time since 2013. So it's been 11 years since they've had an Assassin's Creed that wouldn't run on previous consoles.
Which one was that one?
I don't know.
It might have been Unity, if I remember correctly.
I think you're right. I think it might have been Unity. Yeah.
Because Black Flag was on the PS3.
Black Flag was cross-gen. Yeah.
What was interesting with that one was you could actually upgrade from PS3 to PS4 as one of those few
You just
games
put the PS3 disc in the PS4 and it would just download the PS4 version.
Which was fascinating.
Yeah, it was great.
Not a lot of games did that.
So yeah, if you don't have a new console or a good banging PC, then sorry, Ubisoft. I mean, at a certain point, there comes a point when we're like, 3/4 of the way through the current life cycle of these consoles when you can say like, okay, we're not going to make NES versions of Assassin's Creed Shadow anymore.
I think the longest lasting thing for something like that was the Just Dance games on Wii.
Oh, yeah.
They just kept making them.
Oh, they just kept making them. They didn't stop. Well, they're just dance. They're just videos, right?
And then eventually they're like, okay, we got to stop fucking making this for the Wii.
You could get them on a cell phone. You could have kept them on the Wii. It's fine.
They easily could have, but they decided not to.
In other Ubisoft news, Ubisoft had an earnings call where they talked about stuff. Michael, I know this is going to break your heart, but the Division Homeland has been canceled.
Oh, no.
Yes, the free-to-play Division game in the heartland of America has been canceled so that Ubisoft can spend more of their resources focusing on X-Defiant.
Which one was that one?
That's Overwatch with Tom Clancy.
Oh.
That's the Tom Clancy's Overwatch. The hero shooter with Far Cry... Sam Fisher, not Sam Fisher, but Third Echelon, The Division, Rainbow Six Siege, and like Watch Dogs all fighting each other.
I love how all of these are franchises that aren't going to get new games.
Yes. Also, yes, it appears that any new Watch Dogs game is off the table, probably because they fucked up that Watch Dogs 3 real bad.
They fucked it up real bad.
It didn't, and I played all the way through that piece of shit, and it was like, that idea that they had for like rotating protagonists, it actually didn't. It worked relatively well when I played it, but like. I just
see the issue with that is that it turns out if you have revolving protagonists, you don't care about them.
Yeah, I care a lot more about the protagonist from Watch Dogs 2 than I do for the protagonist of Watch Dogs 3, who is nobody. But I care more about the protagonist of Watch Dogs 3 than I care about fucking Aiden shit, whatever his name is in Watch Dogs 1. That dude sucks. I hate him with his fucking jacket all up over his face, his baseball cap, dumbass. My niece got kidnapped by the mob. Bullshit. That game sucks so hard. Fuck that game.
It's surprised that Watch Dogs 2 even happened.
Fuck that game. I love Watch Dogs 2, but Watch Dogs
2 is the only one that people really like out of that. When your franchise is only 1 out of 3 is good, that's not a good sign.
Yep, true. But yes, it appears that Ubisoft, like most developers, but the weird thing about this is that they're canceling that, but they're not like, so far we haven't seen this wasn't accompanied by a bunch of mass layoffs. I think because they just took everybody that was working on that game and then were like, go make Assassin's Creed. You all go make Assassin's Creed right now.
They all helped finish Skull and Bones.
Yep.
And they're all just now working on Assassin's Creed.
How is it that, like, okay, Sucker Punch, right, made Ghost of Tsushima?
Yeah.
They're like one team, one moderately sized team. And then, like, whenever EA or Ubisoft or like Square Enix makes anything, they're just like, we put 14 teams on this. And it's just like, why? Are your teams that bad at making things? Like, why does it take 14 teams to do this?
I think it's because they just don't trust anybody.
Yeah.
And they're just like, if one of them dies, then the next one takes it. If he dies, he dies, kind of thing.
Just work him to death and then move the next guy up the board. Yeah. And like everybody moves up one.
There's just a pile of dead developers in the corner that they just have to keep scooping in there.
I laugh, but it's true.
Bring out your dead developers.
Yeah. So, speaking of games that are going away, we got the news this week that Microsoft put 60 games on sale. On their store. These are Xbox 360 games that are going away on July 29th, because July 29th, Xbox is closing the 360 store. So for anybody who doesn't know, you can still find 360 games on like your current console and buy them. Like you can go buy.
Some of them are backwards compatible with the Series X.
I bought Fallout after the show came out. Like it was the Xbox 360 version of Fallout with all the DLCs, right?
Oh, gotcha.
It's a limited library, but they put a bunch of games, not all of them, but they did put a bunch of games. Michael, I'm going to tell you right now, what they put on sale is pretty much trash.
Okay. That sounds right, yeah.
Like Alien Rage or Black Knight Sword or Cloudberry Kingdom or Dogfight 1942 or Fighters Uncaged. I mean, there's also like Far Cry and Destroy All Humans.
I'm sure there's
and stuff
actual good games on there. Yeah.
Or like Hunter's Trophy 2 America or Hunter's Trophy 2 Australia.
It's a lot of Just Dances on there.
Just Dance 2014, 2015, 2016, 2018, 2019. What happened to 2017, you guys?
Yeah.
Where's Just Dance 2017? Keenan Lynch Dead Men.
That was a fun one. Question mark?
Keenan Lynch 2 Dog Day. No, that's not on there. Mini Ninjas Adventures. Murdered Sole Suspect. My Body Coach 3.
Jesus Christ.
I had to look up some of these, like Self-Defense Training Camp.
Oh my God.
I will say I did buy that, though. Splinter Cell Chaos Theory is on there. I bought
that's a
that.
fun one. Yeah.
It holds up a little bit better. Original Watch Dogs, starring my least favorite protagonist in the world. Yeah. Or Zombie Driver HD. The classics.
Selling Yar's Revenge.
Yeah. Zombie Driver HD. What is Zombie Driver HD?
I don't know.
It looks like an Xbox arcade game or something.
It most likely was.
Probably. Oh, yeah. It literally says arcade right there. Okay. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. Go get your Xbox games while you can, folks.
Yeah, look up like a good guide of stuff that was like solid stuff that's hard to find physically so far.
Actually, I mean, the thing is that these 66 games are on sale, but there are more than 66 games.
Of course.
And there are games on like Fallout 3 that are on the Xbox backwards compatibility where like you should go. The Fallout 3 was like on Game Pass when the show came out. It was also on sale for like $3.
Oh, okay.
And every one of the DLCs was like $2. So for like $12, I got like Fallout 3 and all the DLCs backwards compatible on the Series X, which is good because they run at 4K with HD, like enhanced on there, as opposed to on my PC. We're running them at 120 frames per second, just made everything run at double speed like Benny Hill. And I was like, why don't I just play this on my Xbox where, the good Lord intended.
Yeah, there's a lot of games on there that you guys should go out and see if they're still, when they're still there, because there's some games that were just delisted outright that you'll probably never be able to get again, and there's some on there that you should really, that you probably won't be able to find physically anymore as soon as this whole thing's done.
Actually, like, what is it that story that I was looking at before? Let's see. Had I think some of the top 360 games. It's Minecraft, Gears, Rayman Legends, Shadow Complex. I like Shadow Complex. Anyway, there's stuff on there to go check out. Let's see. Another Microsoft news. Fallout 4 is getting some patches to fix the patch for Fallout 4, Michael.
It's such a Bethesda-ass thing to do.
Yeah. We were talking about this yesterday, how like you guys spent all this time and effort to make this is like when they couldn't make a good Marvel superhero game, and I'm like, you guys had the perfect moment. You had the weekend of your life to cash in on Fallout the TV show. You could have had a Fallout 76 DLC, you could have had a Fallout 4 expansion, and instead you put out a patch that broke the current like single player next gen game that people were probably most likely to be downloading at this point.
It was crazy.
Not only that, but like, you know what you could have done? I was thinking about this while I was reading the story. You know what you could have done? You could have teamed up with that guy that made that Far Cry London game and like sponsored it as like put it on the Microsoft store.
It's like actually release that thing.
Yeah, give him like 80% of what comes in and be like, put it on the Bethesda creator studio thing, right? Where you can pay for mods. Like, make a fucking deal with that guy. Back up the dump truck full of money. It's fucking Microsoft and Bethesda, for God's sake. I know the dump truck. You both have your own dump truck.
That's true. And we're not just talking about their money, by the way.
Yeah.
Todd Howard.
I'm talking about the back of Todd Howard. Talking about Todd Howard's ass right here. That's America's ass.
That's what the vault's for.
That's the wasteland's ass right there. But instead, no, they put out a patch that broke Fallout 4 on all platforms. On Steam, yes. On consoles, yes. Pretty much just across the board.
Yeah.
Broke stuff.
If Stadia was still a thing, I'm sure it would have broke Stadia too.
We should have broke Stadia. Yeah. So they put that out and they busted everything. And so now they're going to fix everything. And they put out a patch this week, Michael, that did not fix everything and rebroke the creator kit hooks. The what is it called? The framework kit that Fallout London thing runs on.
Oh my god.
So it had to be pushed back even further. So now they're saying they're going to patch that patch. And
those fucking God, they can't do shit.
And the internet is like, stop patching it. We'll fix it. Please leave Fallout 4 alone, and we will get to it. We will fix the game, you guys. Just stop fucking with it.
It's just like, leave. Just leave.
Just leave.
Stop it.
Yes. Like, just quit helping. You're not doing anything.
It's just like, it's the comedy, but I can't remember the name of the thing I'm thinking of, but it's just the thing where he's like, oh, I'll help, and every time he picks it, like he drops something, he's like, well, don't worry, I'll get something, and then he grabs something else and it drops something else, and then finally he starts picking up the thing, but he drops it and becomes even worse, and there's like, just go, just fucking go. That's what they're doing every single time.
And what's weird is like, okay, man, look, I know I've defended in the past that Bethesda games, when they come out, are probably going to have bugs in them because they're so big and they're so complicated that the only way to really get a good snapshot for your QA is to have, like, customers writing in about, like, when I pick up the bottle on the table in fucking the stadium, my entire game crashes to desktop. And then you can be like, okay, we can fix that. They've had, like, how many years? I did Fallout 4 with Brian fucking Brushwood.
It's been, Fallout 4 came out a very long time ago.
How long have they had to fix this shit? Even note it? Like,
no. I just realized what it kind of reminds me of now.
What's that?
Which is that part in The Naked Gun where he keeps trying to keep things from getting destroyed. Just keeps fucking up that guy's condo or whatever.
Yep.
It's just that. Just over and over again.
Yep. And you know what? We're a little under time, but with that, I think we got a big chunk of news left. We're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we have plenty more news, including more Fallout news. So stick around, and we'll see you in just a second. And we're back. And Michael, before we left, we were talking about Fallout. We're not done with Fallout just yet because last week, maybe a bit. No, actually, I know specifically it's not that. So Phil Spencer of Microsoft is a gamer.
Yes.
He plays games. One of the games he plays is Fallout 76. He seems to only really play like Microsoft games. Like, he played Destiny, so he's a big Destiny guy. Anyway, he's played Fallout 76, and so people figured out who he was in Fallout 76. And so when they found that out, one guy made it his goal to nuke Phil Spencer's camp in Fallout 76. And he did, because that's a thing that you could do in Fallout 76.
The Wild West out there.
Yes. And it's funny because he posted on Twitter that he did it, and then they kind of talked to him about it, and he was like, "Well, no, I just consider Phil Spencer to be like the final boss of this game, so I just wanted to defeat him." And that was like I don't hate the guy or anything.
That's my favorite thing about it is because it happened around the same time everything was going on, news wise. So people assumed it was like a retaliation,
right?
But in reality, he's like, "No, I thought of him as my Thanos."
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm like, I'm gonna fucking nuke that motherfucker.
Yep.
But he has like no ill will towards him at all. And I'm like, that's actually way better in my opinion, because it's just funnier that way.
However, there's been a development in the Phil Spencer got nuked department, and that is that according to, because you know how you can see people's like achievements, right? Well, Phil Spencer apparently last week also got the achievement for arming a nuclear device.
Oh God!
So now Phil Spencer has the ability to nuke somebody else's camp. Now, I actually thought this was really interesting because I'm like, if you were the CEO of the company that makes the game, is there any way that you could be like, I'm just playing a video game, and it's like, no, it's going to be news, it's going to be on websites, it's going to be on Twitter, it's going to be a fucking thing. You're not allowed to play this game like everybody else, Phil Spencer. You're not allowed to nuke people in Fallout 76. You just got to take it on the chin and move forward like you do.
No, I want him to do it because it's going to kick off a literal war inside Fallout 76, and I want that so bad.
The pro Phil and anti Phil factions of Fallout 76 are just going to go to nuclear war with each other.
Yeah, I want it to be like the ending of Terminator 3, where you just see nukes everywhere.
So what you're saying is that there is a way for war to change, and it's when Phil Spencer gets involved.
Exactly. The second Phil Spencer gets involved, war was going to go up a notch.
Yeah,
it's going to go up a notch, guys.
I don't know. It just got me thinking. It was just kind of crazy about the idea of like, if you own a game company and you play the game that your company makes, are you allowed to like do end game shit at people? Like, is Hideo Kojima allowed to raid my base in Metal Gear Solid 5?
Yeah.
To take my nukes?
Are you allowed to troll people?
Right.
Like, could you imagine Phil Spencer playing like fucking Dark Souls and like wearing like nothing and like fucking with people,
just
like,
invading people's games? He's like the ultimate troll. He's just out there fucking like, well, you got to do something to make yourself look better after shutting down beloved studios left and right. So.
I wonder if more people are going to nuke him, by the way.
Very possible. And last on the Fallout front, this was a real fun story. And for anybody who's watched the Fallout show, this is why you should let the Fallout modders fix your game and not like Microsoft.
Yes.
The Fallout modders have basically put there's a character that's a lot like a Roomba that shows up a little later in the series of Fallout, and people have put that kind of enemy type into Fallout 4
that's fun.
As a thing that you can now have. It doesn't talk, unfortunately, but
okay.
And it's kind of rudimentary. But I don't know, like I don't know why a company like Bethesda can't be like start a division where you let modders do stuff, and then pay them for it, but have the oversight of Bethesda to like a partnership, not just like we're going to take the mods, but like integrate the most popular mods back into the game, you know, clean them up, do some stuff. It just seems because like people are crazy for Fallout. They're fucking love it. They'll put anything in it.
Well, it's a slippery slope that I don't understand why they don't want to at least try.
Yeah.
Because I've heard of stuff like similar in the past where they're like, hey, we're going to add these mods that people put in the actual official thing.
Right.
But then...
Because they do have that one where you submit a mod and then people can pay for it and then they give you a cut of the profits. But I'm talking about like core game fixes or like that London expansion or like...
Well, there are people who get hired to be part of the actual team that way.
Right.
But you know,
but a step means, between the two, right? You know,
yeah, that's the thing. I was going to say that means that they're part of the team now, and they're not doing what they were doing before, making weird creative shit.
Yeah,
now they're just like part of the guy who breaks the game now,
right?
And not like the other way around. So yeah, there needs to be like a middle ground where you're allowed to still fix things and not like, you know, just be a part of the team itself, if that makes sense.
I think it's called Steam Workshop. I think it's called Nexus Mods, actually.
It is, but you know, like a more actual like partnership, like you said.
Yeah, more official.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, let's see. Next up on the list, in other Microsoft subsidiary news, this actually happened back in January, but we just got the notice of it right now. Apparently, ZeniMax has copyrighted the IDKFA like code from the original Doom, the one that gives you like all keys and weapons and ammo and stuff.
Yeah.
And so people think that like it's possible that being copyrighted might mean that it's like part of, because there's a lot of chatter right now going on. I've got another story about like there might be a new Doom on the horizon. The last Doom game was Doom Ultimate, came out in 2020. We're now 4 years away from that, right? Like
Eternal
or Doom. Yeah. Wait, what did I say?
You said Ultimate.
Oh yeah, that's like that's the old one.
Yeah,
Doom Eternal.
That was a long time ago.
Yes. And we've heard there was part of the court filings. We heard about something called like Doom Year Zero or something like that.
Okay.
Like maybe a prequel about the Doom Slayer. Because like in the Doom Eternal, I think you kill like Satan, or like the main antagonist of the entire franchise.
The DLC is you kill Satan.
Right.
Like you get into a fight with Satan, and I'm just like, oh, okay. And Satan just looks like you, which is even weirder.
Yeah. So I don't know if they could go very far forward in the Doom universe. But
it's a shame they pissed off Mick Gordon, though. So
well, that's true.
Never get that soundtrack again.
There was also another thing. There was a Verge article that was kind of talking about all the horrible horse shit that was happening at Microsoft. And it ended with like just, I don't know, it was a very sly thing where it was like, this last paragraph is Microsoft will be banking on some new game announcements lifting the Doom around Xbox, and Doom is capitalized and in italics, almost like somebody knows something, but if they leak it, then they will know where it was leaked from. And this is like
that, or that guy's just fucking around,
or they're just fucking around.
That's the problem with stuff nowadays.
I guess the question, Michael, is we're all but confirmed that there's going to be new Gears in June at the June thing that they're doing. There's all but certainly going to be a new Gears announced. What do you think the over-under is for the announcement of at least the existence of a new Doom game?
I think it's a good chance that will happen, mostly because a lot of the chatter around what was going on was that IP is king again,
right? So
we're like, Doom is one of the biggest IPs they have, and it would be dumb not to announce something. I feel
also it hasn't done they haven't done anything. There's been no announcements or anything from them since the end of the DLC for Doom Eternal. So
and not only that, there hasn't been a lot of announcements for IPs that Bethesda has,
right?
So it's just been kind of strange that they've just not really been doing anything with them.
Do you think that Gears, Doom, Indiana Jones, Elder Scrolls 6 could turn it around for Microsoft?
Elder Scrolls 6 definitely could, but they have to still be. It still has to be a good game,
right? Because
the thing about Starfield was that people thought it was going to, and then it died so fast.
Yeah,
and so like it has to be something that'll keep them. It has to keep gamers' attention well enough. I think Indiana Jones is going to help a lot.
Yeah.
If they make a new Doom, that also will help a lot.
There's also the expansion for Starfield supposed to be out at the end of the year, and if it's possible that they're rolling a lot of like crazy ass quality of life upgrades into that could be very helpful as well.
The main problem is that a lot of this hinges. It hinges in a way that a lot of other companies don't.
Right.
Which is that the Game Pass is their main thing that is both helping and holding them back at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's really difficult for me to be like, of course it's going to save them because they're going to have all these game sales.
Yeah.
But that's not what's happening with them.
Right.
They're expecting Game Pass sales. And the problem is that like that's only like 15 a piece.
Yeah.
And that's only like if they
that's Ultimate is 15.
Yeah.
I think regular is like 10,
yeah,
right?
That's if they keep it for long periods of time is the only way that actually makes the money compared to if they just bought the game new.
Yeah.
So it's like, what?
Hell, there was
I can't really be sure anymore.
I look, I want to be very clear here. I don't want the subscription services to go away.
I don't either.
I fucking love them. They're so good on my wallet. Like, they allow me to do so much for RageSelect that I maybe couldn't afford to do because I can get Little Kitty Big City off of Game Pass day one, no problem. I can get Animal Well off of PSN, no problem, right? Like, I can get the $129 collector's edition of Assassin's Creed Shadow on the Ubisoft one that's like $8 a month, and like, okay, you just paid for yourself. You get 3 days early access as well as the Ultimate Edition with all the DLC. You only have to have like one game a year for like or two. If you're paying $10 a month, there only has to be 2 games each year, 2 AAA games, or 1.5, I guess they're $70 games, to make that a value proposition that's worthwhile.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And so I don't want them to wise up. But on the other hand, if the price of that is that they keep fucking up studios and not taking chances and making safe bets, I don't know, maybe go back to that method. I heard a rumor, or I heard on the Triple Click podcast, Jason Schreier was talking about how, like, game developer, like, director bonuses were based on, like, units sold.
Yeah.
And, like, if you're on Game Pass, you don't have units sold. Like, your units sold are, like, 30% of what they used to be because people are just getting Game Pass instead.
Yeah.
And that you're suddenly not getting your bonus, and people are like, well, wait a minute, fucking I did the work over here. Like, this is how it's always been. Give me my fucking bonus.
It's interesting because it's game developers are running into what the strikes that the writers and everything were going through, because streaming changed residuals, and
right
now Game Pass is going to is changing their residuals,
right?
So it's like, oh shit, like, and one of them is going to have to adapt. But the reason gaming developers haven't adapted right away is because only one of the main 3 is doing it.
Yeah,
so it's harder to like negotiate something like that.
Absolutely.
But also makes it way easier to be like, why are we even doing this for them? So that is the main trick with Xbox.
I guess for me, the real question is just like, is the new Call of Duty going to be on Game Pass?
Oh, yeah.
And if so, like, whoo, doggy, that's some money right there.
Yeah, that'll probably help them immensely if they end up doing it.
Let's see. Speaking of horrible Microsoft bullshit, Hi-Fi Rush put out one last patch last week to fix the final bugs that were present, or what they could, before Tango GameWorks was dissolved. So pour one out, once again. But they got it out, and what's nice about it, we're talking about the Ubisoft thing before. That final patch version that I don't know if you I don't know how many people remember this, but like, they added like a challenge mode and like a bunch of extra costumes and cosmetics and like all this. They added a lot to that game after launch.
Yeah.
They also did all these bug fixes. All that will then be collected because Limited Run is making a physical copy of Hi-Fi Rush, and it will all be on the disc.
I did not know that.
So, like,
good for them.
Final version, basically.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate that I, as far as I know, the Switch version is probably dead at this point.
It didn't already come out?
Not for the Switch, as far as I know.
I bet it's still coming out.
I don't know. That's the thing.
I don't know.
That was one of the rumored versions, but as far as I know, it never happened.
I haven't looked that up. I do know, though, apparently both Hi-Fi Rush and the Evil Within games are getting like positively review bombed on Steam right now, which is kind of nice. Like,
that's very nice.
Gamer solidarity coming out and just like submitting all these like positive reviews. I really do think. I mean, I know it took me a while to get to it, but I really did like Hi-Fi Rush when I finally got to it. Like snappy writing, snappy combat. Good songs,
it's
like
also
catchy.
Gorgeous. It's just such a gorgeous art style and some of the most interesting character designs of any game in the past, 5 years. I feel.
Yeah, rock solid game. Yeah, wish it had done better because you and I were talking earlier this week about how Microsoft is like, no, we're very happy with the sales of Hi-Fi Rush. And it's like, no, you're not. I know you're not. Like, I know you're not happy because I haven't seen a single article about how well Hi-Fi Rush is selling outside of people just cashing it in on Game Pass.
Yeah. And then I don't know anyone who buys games on Xbox anymore, at all.
Yeah.
Like I was telling you, I'm going to buy Indiana Jones because I'm like, well, I kind of want to own that one,
right,
in case something happens or something. But I don't know anyone else is going to.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like it could be a problem. But one thing's for sure, it's not selling consoles because we did get a story last week about how apparently this is from an analyst firm that was doing kind of the numbers on stuff. And apparently in the last quarter, PS5 sold 5 times the number of hardware units as the Xbox Series X and S.
Oh, my God. 5?
5X, yeah. A lot of this is done with kind of math about just total shipping and blah, 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 blah. But apparently for the life of the consoles, to date, it's mostly been a 2-to-1 thing where you're selling 2 PS5s for every Xbox.
Yeah.
But recently, I think that may have been happening kind of right up until Starfield, where people were trying to keep the faith, and then Microsoft started putting out Sea of Thieves on the PS5 and stuff, and you just gotta if you're a regular consumer, you just gotta look at it and go, why?
Yeah.
I can't get.
Yeah, there's nothing keeping me here.
Yeah,
because not only that, everything else is also coming out on PC.
Right.
For their so why would I even need this machine anymore?
You could take the money you're going to spend on an Xbox and you could use to upgrade your PC and then buy a PS5 and you'd be set.
I bet you the accessories sell more than anything else. Because
controllers and shit.
Because controllers work on they work on PCs and stuff.
That's true.
There's no reason to not get one of those
even
at this
though,
point. Their controllers are really good, apparently.
PS5 controllers jam on the PC.
Yes.
I've not had any problems with mine. So, but yeah, so Microsoft needs to do some soul searching. They do not seem like they're in a very good position at the moment. Between all the layoffs and all of the cuts, and then just the lack of games. And you and I yesterday talked for 20 minutes, but it's how the fuck did we get here?
No.
Are you guys even running a goddamn company? What are you doing? What are you doing?
They're burning money. Literally. We were talking about how they bought so many studios at the end of the life cycle of the Xbox One.
Yep.
And everyone's like, that means there's going to be hundreds of games or whatever, dozens. And then nothing.
Yeah.
We got 3.
No, Michael, Bleeding Edge came out. Don't you remember Bleeding Edge, the game everybody is playing? Bleeding Edge?
I completely forgot that even happened.
What is Rare doing? Surely, I mean, more than apparently they're just making Jack Sparrow and Monkey Island mods for Sea of Thieves, but where's that Perfect Dark? Where's that Perfect Dark reboot thing?
They announced that. We haven't heard anything else on it.
Yep.
And they're never gonna let them make another Killer Instinct, apparently. So what the fuck? What are we doing?
Yeah. What are we doing here? Anyway, enough of that. Back to Sony. We got the news earlier this year that Jim Ryan was stepping down as the CEO of Sony, and he is apparently going to be replaced by 2 people.
Oh, that's interesting.
Herman Hulst and Hideaki Nishino. Let's see. Hulst is going to take over the studio business group, and Nishino is going to be in charge of the platform business group. So it appears that they're splitting between over software and hardware. At least that's what that reads to me, basically.
That's what it sounds like. I'm curious as to how this will play out, because I feel like Jim Ryan did not really know what he was doing after a while.
Yeah. Sony, I mean, I talk a lot of shit about Microsoft, but Sony does well with the PlayStation, but they're very conservative and they do dumb shit too.
Yeah.
So like
it's not like they also have tons of games either.
It's not like Sony could do no wrong and Microsoft can't do anything right. It's like no, Sony's doing plenty wrong, like plenty wrong.
Yeah, the issue isn't that they're not doing anything wrong. The issue is that they're doing things wrong while Xbox is jumping off of cliffs,
right?
Which is a completely different version of wrong.
It's that Sony is making boneheaded choices about their video games, while Microsoft has no video games.
Yes.
Like
that is the difference. The difference is one shot themselves in the face,
yes,
and one shot themselves in the foot.
Yes,
that's the difference.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of boneheaded Sony moves, this is interesting. We talked a little bit about this last week. I was talking to Blake about this last week. I don't know if you get the same impression from me, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Blake was talking about how he was kind of mad at the CEO of Arrowhead for what was his name? Pillstat or whatever.
Well, that's his Twitter name. I don't remember. I don't know his actual name.
That's his actual name. That's
his
last
actual name. Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, I just thought it was a Twitter handle. Okay.
Yeah, Johan Palsted, whatever. I get the impression that he is desperately trying to explain to people at Sony who have no idea what the fuck is going on why they should not do these things and reverse what they have already done, lest they kill the golden goose where it is, whether they it's already maimed. Please don't finish it off.
No, that's exactly what's happening. The thing is, I'm upset with him, but not upset, but not the way Blake might be. Because the reason I'm upset with him is the fact that he should have they should have been more upfront, and he's admitted this, that they should have been more upfront with the fact that PlayStation had told them there's going to be a requirement that you need a PlayStation account to play this game, and he just never told anybody, and that caused what happened had to happen,
right?
And so he's only partially to blame because it's clearly not his idea, but he also kept it. But I know why he kept it secret, because me and you had this discussion too, where he's like, "I'm just hoping they will forget they even told us to do this."
Yes, please don't. Please don't. Look at how successful.
Yeah,
look how successful it is.
I guarantee you, the reason he didn't was he was worried the second he's like, "Oh, by the way, you need this." That some exec was gonna be like, "Oh yeah, that's right. We did say you need that."
Right.
Thanks for it's the kid before summer class. He's like, "Yeah, you didn't check our homework or whatever."
Right.
Is that fucking weirdo?
However,
he didn't want to be that guy.
I have a new villain for this particular story about Helldivers 2, and that is apparently, according to this guy, Johan. I'm not going to say his last name. Johan. Valve is the one who delisted the game from all those countries and didn't ask Arrowhead or Sony. They
really?
just did it over the weekend while they were on holiday. This shit happened they were supposed to be on a bank holiday over the weekend. Arrowhead was, and apparently Valve just made the executive decision of well, if it's got a requirement and that requirement doesn't exist in this country, we can't sell the game in this country, delist it in 180 countries. And so now it's this poor guy, I'm sure, is just sitting there just
insane.
Okay, Steam, undo what you've done. Sony, undo what would you guys please? My studio's gonna get destroyed in 2 months. Could you guys just roll this shit back before we're all on the street, please?
Yeah, he's I know they're fighting for their lives right now because
and then of course the players, right, who are not exactly the most sympathetic people in the world.
In fact, they're very upset with them on the new War Bond.
Oh yeah.
Or as it's called. Because they're there's nothing really interesting about these guns, and some of these guns are kind of suck.
Well, one of the fourth axis in this chair of evil is the Helldivers 2 player base is I know why, but apparently from everything I've read, they've developed into one of these psychotic player bases.
They're rabid.
They are uncaring. They think your mother should die in a fire, and if that gun looks ugly, then I'm going to come to your fucking house. Just nuts, crazy times. So
they're both the best and worst fan base around right now,
right?
Because they're the best because they were able to make what happened happen.
Yeah,
but they're the worst because the second it was done, they went back to telling everyone to to kill themselves.
Right.
Like, it happened so fast. That was my favorite thing, was that, like, because I'm on the subreddit, and literally the day after, it went back to, like, why does this gun suck? And it's like, God damn it, guys. Like, we just went through this whole thing, and you're being weird about it. And the reason I know the fan base is having a hard time with what's going on is that the new major order failed, which was similar to the major order, which was like kill 2 billion Terminids that they finished in a day,
right?
And then it was like now it was like kill 2 billion automatons, and they didn't do it,
right?
I was like, what happened here?
Yeah,
like, you guys are all murder hungry, and now you're just not doing it. Like, what? I don't know what happened here.
One of the things you got to be really careful about in the video game industry is sometimes if you break the spell, it's over. Like, it's just that momentum stopped, and you're not going to get it back because new shit is out. People are playing fucking Animal Well, right? Like, they've gone on to the next thing.
What's interesting about this is that that momentum was killed by themselves.
Yep.
And that's so lame.
Yep. Additionally, Steam has begun auto-refunding Ghost of Tsushima in any of those 180 countries. Like, if you pre-ordered it there and has now been delisted from those countries, and they just are automatically giving people their money back because you can't buy the game in this country anymore. Not like, well, let's see if they sort it out. No. Sony has said they're still going to require the PSN ID for online, but apparently that to Steam is just like, well, if you can't play the game, then here's your money back.
Yeah,
like,
we can't just give you part of it back because, like, if you don't have access to everything, then you don't have access to the game.
Yeah, which, like, you guys,
no.
Like, isn't there somebody high up? Is this not has this not been conveyed the emergency that this is?
No.
Like, to you, like, somebody needs to get on the phone. Like, somebody, is Jim Ryan still there? Get him on the phone with Gabe Newell and be like, Gabe, can we work this out in like an hour on Friday before lunch?
Here's the reason I think it's not happening, because Jim's on his way out.
Yeah,
and he's like, I don't give a fuck about any of this anymore.
Yeah,
this has nothing to do with me. But he's still in charge,
right?
So he can't, like, so nobody else can do it. And so he's just like, look, dude, I got golf in like an hour. I mean, I got, I'm going to get a nap in first. Yep. I don't want to deal with this shit.
So one of the things that's happening, this is another weird thing about Ghost of Tsushima, is apparently the cross-play functionality of Ghost of Tsushima's multiplayer mode is being tagged as a beta on Steam because apparently, I think in an attempt to try to get around this, like, where if this one component is beta and not like full release, that it means that you can't like cack the entire game release because this is a beta element, not full code complete.
Oh my god!
And it's just like, why, man?
It was a good try, I guess. Question mark?
Yeah.
You guys are. God,
I'm sure there'll be another story next week where we update this again. Oh boy,
this is exactly what we're talking about: making bad decisions, but the game exists at least.
All right. Well, we got a few tabs. We got to go through them pretty quick here, Michael. That Marvel Overwatch thing went into beta.
Yes.
And apparently one of the agreements that you had to agree to in order to get into the beta said that, like, you will not disparage the game online.
It was a non-disparagement agreement. It was what the wording said.
You will not you'll prohibit malicious comparisons to competitors or providing subjective negative reviews. Like, this is the internet. That's all this thing. The internet is a subjective negative review. Yeah. That's all it is.
The beta is them saying if it's good or bad. That's what's happening here.
And like, you can't compare it to other products. What are you talking about? The only comparison to this is Overwatch. You can just be like, oh, the Punisher, he plays like, fucking this person from Overwatch, right?
I don't remember what I found, but it was on Twitter. It was a guy who, it looked like a presentation.
Yeah.
There was a screenshot of like examples apparently of that, and one of them was like calling it Marvel Watch or something like that. Like, it's just like weird shit that was not allowed, quote unquote. Yep. But some of them wasn't disparaging. Some of them was like Hulk has cake was one of them. And I was just like, I'm very confused as to what I'm looking at here.
Well, I guess it depends on whether you consider butts to be a good thing or a bad thing. So anyway, there was a guy on Twitter, Brandon Larned, that pointed this out. and apparently like they walked it back.
And NetEase was like, "Well, we're kidding, bro.
Right.
It's a joke."
And they were just like, "Oh no, I'm just a birthday boy. I don't know what I'm doing over here. Well, don't worry about it. Say whatever you feel like." You know what it reminded me of is the Shadow of Mordor. Remember when they gave people the early access copies and they were like, "You're not allowed to say anything bad about it." Everyone was like, "I wasn't going to,
but now
it's
I want
fucking
to."
Amazing." But now I gotta say, I'm not allowed to say anything bad. Like,
I love that they're like, "No, we didn't mean that." It's like, no, you know exactly. You know
what you did. You got caught. You got caught.
Yeah,
like,
you got caught, and now everybody's pissed at you.
Yeah.
Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah. Just say I'm sorry and then move on. Don't try to gaslight me into thinking that you're like, "Oh, I know it's my first day,"
Yeah,
and it's like,
just...
no, you're not. No, it's not. You're making Marvel Overwatch. You're not like an indie dev. You're not one guy. Like
you've clearly been doing this for a while,
right? Contracts were signed. There's got to be somebody there that wears a suit and knows what the fuck they're doing.
There's no boilerplate like terms of service for games that has a non-disparagement agreement in it.
Nobody would hit the accept button.
No one would play that fucking
I also
game.
Somebody was talking about how they got like their shit taken down off of Twitter for talking some shit about the beta, who never actually hit the agree button on the, thing. It was just like
that's amazing.
Or there was one place that was trying to talk about the problems that they had, but it was like 2 people got the beta, 3 of them played it, and then the 2 that got the beta like weren't in that video, and they just had the person who didn't hit the agree button say all the bad things, and then they tried to like take it to, and it's like, don't try to like, when are the companies going to learn that it's like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't try this.
Yeah.
It just makes it worse.
It makes you look so bad and makes people just not want to play your game because they're going to think it's in there.
People come out and they're just like, "Hey, everybody, I heard there's going to be a new Doom game that's going to be announced in June. And Microsoft struck my channel 4 times and put out a statement saying, we can neither confirm nor deny whether there will be a Doom game. We don't know what Doom is. What is Doom? I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. There's definitely not going to be a new Doom game." And it's like, well, you've just confirmed it.
Yeah.
You can say no all day long, but the fact that you went to these lengths means that, yes, it is a thing.
If you assassinate the guy was clearly on to something.
Right.
That's what's happening here.
Yeah. So let's see from there. Square Enix is the latest company to have a bunch of layoffs.
I want to say I'm surprised, but I'm more surprised it didn't happen sooner.
Yeah, this kind of ties into the story last week about how they are doing a giant reorganization at Square. And you know what? Like, I'm not happy that anybody lost their job, but apparently the most the people that lost most of the cuts are coming in IT, which I think would be if they're cutting like live service games and stuff that requires online connectivity, you would need as much IT. Square Enix Collective, which is like their indie publishing arm.
Okay.
I think the last game they put out was that Little Goody Two Shoes, that weird like 90s anime.
Oh yeah,
dating. Matt was all into it. And yeah, those are the 2 that are going to be the most cut. They haven't announced the exact number of people that are getting laid off, but they're apparently going to be both in the US and in the Japanese side. But one of the big things that they're looking to do here is 1, they're not looking to make 1 billion games. 2, they are not going to be doing they're going to be trying to move away from single platform for platform exclusivity. It's like, we're going to put everything out everywhere. And then 3, the individual groups will no longer have control over their own projects. They're going to have like management that comes in and tells you what game you're going to make, not like creative business unit 3 has decided we're going to make Forspoken for 6 years and it's going to be garbage. So I'm hoping that maybe this means that Square Enix can get back to being a company that I'm excited when they say something, but I'm sorry, this is going to sound weird, but I am legitimately interested in the fact that that's their strategy now. Yeah.
Because it just means that a lot of games are just being made for no reason.
Yeah.
And no one was in the room being like, is this a good idea?
Right.
And I don't know how you got this far. But it also is, they really should have made this decision when they had all of those other studios they sold to Embracer because they would have had so many IPs they could have worked with.
Maybe, but then also I think that it's good. I mean, okay, I wish that those studios had gone independent as opposed to being bought by Embracer, but because I'm still not convinced that Square Enix knows how to run a company.
No, they don't. But I think the difference is that like they would have been like, wait, we have actual IPs,
right?
Let's make those games.
Yes,
but now we don't have that either. So it's like just very frustrating.
I don't know. Hopefully, this will mean the beginning of some better stuff because. I mean, I'll say that like Final Fantasy 14 is really popular, and I liked 16 at the end of the day, even though it was rough in the beginning. I think that was a pretty decent. I liked when it became a Final Fantasy game and stopped trying to beat Game of Thrones.
Yes, and platform exclusivity was never really a good idea. I feel.
Yeah.
Although the only good side of it was that it made it to where they were pushing the PS5 as much as they could.
Right.
So that's the only like really good side to that.
It was probably good for Sony.
Yes.
Probably wasn't very good for Square.
No.
But let's see. From there, Yoko Taro, as well as some of the other Nier devs, are teasing something. This is mostly from producer Yosuke Saito, who came out and said, I've been talking about wanting to do something with Yoko and Okabe, who's the composer, for some time now. I'll have something a bit more put together to say in the not too distant future, so please stay tuned. It might be Nier, it might not be Nier. Laughs. That's all I can say for now. Unlike what I just said, I do think this is not Nier.
No,
because last year there was a like a panel that they were on. They talked specifically about working on a game that was not Nier. So if they're about ready to announce something, I have a feeling it's probably not going to be Nier. Also, I'm not entirely sure where Nier goes from here, except for I wish that they would port the Gachapon phone game to places I can play it that is not a phone.
Yes, that would be the better thing to do when it comes to Nier. But I generally don't think they're going to do Nier again, mostly because they've already done a few Nier stuff. So at this point, it'd be better just to make something new.
Maybe Yoko Taro has said, as long as I'm alive, there will continue to be Nier games. So,
okay. But
I do get the impression that Nier games are better, like a once every 15 years type of thing, as opposed to every 2 years, whether you want it or not. Let's see, another JRPG news. This is just a public service announcement. I thought this was more dire than it was. Atlas is going to be delisting the Shin Megami Tensei 5 game on the Switch store the same day that the DLC in the new version comes out. I'm sorry, I put this on the list and I thought it was more of a story because like, oh, they're delisting Shin Megami Tensei 5 before the new version comes out that's going to be on all the consoles and the PC. And then I looked at it and it was like, yes, they're delisting it the day that the new one comes out so that they can replace it in the store page with the new version.
That's still kind of weird, but at the same time, like, why would you even need it to be new? I don't know. It's a strange idea in my head.
It's probably because they don't want to sell, like, once the new version comes out, they're probably going to be selling it as a unified version, so you won't be able to buy just 5. You'll be buying, like, 5 with the DLC, or if you're on the Switch, just the DLC, but that you're not going to be able to just go back and buy just 5 without the DLC.
That's just strange to me. I don't know why it's strange to me. It just is.
Let's see. Some good news. Good news, Michael. You remember that shit with Adult Swim games with Warner Brothers?
Yeah, I heard about this.
Well, it turns out that they, the people, they were like, it would take somebody an hour to just like go into Steam and like transfer all these games over to the developers instead of like just delisting them entirely.
Yeah.
And apparently somebody at Warner Brothers was like, all right, just have Randy go spend an hour and do that because they did it.
It's 5 seconds, guys.
So instead of losing all those games, all the games have been transferred back over to the individual developers, and apparently they're going to remain up for sale, but with those people in charge instead. So
good for them.
Yeah, not a bad thing at all. Let's see. Another bad thing, or another not bad thing. Pretty sure 99% here, Red Dead Redemption 1 is finally coming to the PC.
I heard about this too, actually.
Yeah.
But I don't remember how they found out.
So what was interesting was that there was an update to the Rockstar game launcher, and when they data mined that, they found like bullet points for like experience Red Dead 1 and the Undead Nightmare thing all over again in this brand new PC release of Red Dead Redemption.
Oh, God.
But it was in the back end. Oh, here.
Yeah.
Journey across the sprawling expanses of the American West and Mexico in Red Dead Redemption and its zombie horror companion Undead Nightmare, now playable on PC.
Oh my God. It's finally happening.
It's finally happening. It's happening, everyone.
Yeah, like this is not a drill, guys.
Yes.
This is actually kind of exciting.
Yeah. Well, remember they put out that PS5 version and they put out the Switch version last year.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of on everything but the PC, and I'm like, finally, they're putting it on the PC. You know what that means? It means that modders can finally get access to Red Dead Redemption 1 and fix it and make it good and shit.
They're gonna make that thing pop.
Yep.
And if we're lucky, they're gonna take all the audio and shit from it and fuse it into Red Dead Redemption 2.
There you go.
Just remake that fucker.
Yeah, you're thinking.
Because they have all the maps.
Yep.
All of the map apparently exists in Red Dead Redemption 2.
You can get into Mexico and the land is there, but the buildings are not.
Yeah.
But you could put the buildings in.
But we've seen what modders are willing to do.
Yeah.
They're gonna go fucking hog on this fucking bitch.
The fuckers made a whole new Fallout game.
Yeah.
Just because, and it's not even the first one.
Yeah.
this is the community that's like, oh yeah, I remade Morrowind in the Skyrim engine, and it's like, why?
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool, but like, why?
Yeah. Just for the fuck of it, these people are willing to do some great shit for us. And I'm very excited to see what they do with Red Dead Redemption 1 now.
So, yeah. Oh, also, see our previous conversation about DMCA striking things. There was an update. That language was in there. Somebody mined it. They put it on Twitter. There was another update. That language was removed from the source code.
Saw that coming.
At least they didn't try to, legally take down the tweets or anything.
Because that would have definitely proven it.
Yeah.
But oh my God, that's so funny.
Let's see. Speaking of stuff coming to the PC, this is a really interesting ethics question, Michael.
I heard about this too, actually.
Stellaris is getting an expansion that has an AI faction in it, and that AI faction apparently has some AI art and also a few AI voices too. The main antagonist and like your counselor if you play as that race.
Yeah.
These are credited voice actors who are getting paid residuals, but they basically used them to train an AI to then do all the voice lines via an AI. And when I read like what they were talking about, the idea was like, well, we've made this AI race and we wanted it to be uncanny, and so we thought it would be interesting to use the slightly off art and voices of an AI. We still have an art department who did all the concept art for this, and then we just generated a couple of things, and we still have voice actors who we are paying residuals to, but then we put their voices into AI to make it sound kind of off and weird, like AI voices do. And I'm like, that might actually be like the most ethical / like interesting take on using AI to make something in a game I've seen.
Well, it's the way you're supposed to use AI.
Right.
That's the thing, is because the problem people seem to keep forgetting is that AI wasn't designed to take your job. The AI was designed to make things interesting for what you were already doing to begin with.
Yeah.
And this is what they're doing, which is like, we made the stuff, but we figured we want to make it weird as fuck in a way that like no normal human being would be able to do. And I don't mean that as like the art department won't be able to do it. The art department would look at a painting and be like, well, I want to fix this, and that.
Right.
And AI is just going to make something fucking weird, and there's nothing you can do to stop it from doing that.
Yeah.
And that's what they were counting on. And so the AI voice thing too, like you said, it was never going to sound like or not never, but they wanted it to not sound like a normal person, but they made sure to pay everybody who's involved in it.
Right.
Like, it would be one thing if they were just like, they did it and didn't tell them.
Yeah.
Like, they're
on Front Street with
this is what you're supposed to be doing with this. Like, this isn't so much as an ethics question as so much as like this is more like, are you an all or nothing type of person when it comes to these specific things?
Are you absolutist?
Yeah, and that's, and besides the obvious that only Siths deal in absolute joke, like, it's the problem I've always had with certain boycotts.
Yeah,
is the fact that like for some things, all or nothing is should not always be your first thought on them.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you know what? Let's wrap up with one more story. This one has an AI image. Michael, were you privy to the silly fight that Doug Bowser had on LinkedIn with somebody about airline seats?
No.
Okay.
This is news to me.
Let's go on a ride, everybody. So apparently there was a guy on LinkedIn who posted this post. And it had let's see, he posted this rant and he included this weird AI generated thing. And I'll just read. This is from Chad.
Of course, his name is Chad.
Fellow air travelers, as you make your way to your seat, rise from your seat, navigate the center aisle, etc., a reminder, you do not have the right to touch other people's seat backs. The seat in front of you is not there for you to stabilize or raise yourself. That is what an armrest is for. The seat you are in is yours. No other seat or seat back should be touched by you at any time. Thank you for respecting the miracle of flight. Okay, so first off, this is fucking like ridiculous. Like, if you put your hand on somebody's seat to stand up, that's not like a microaggression, my man. Like, I'm sorry, planes suck and they're small, and getting out of seats can be hard for some people. No,
unless you're grabbing it and like pulling it as hard as you can or something, that's different.
Like, yeah, like I mean, you know. Yeah, the idea that you might need that to push yourself all the way up is not ridiculous.
No.
So anyway, this guy posts this. Chad over here posts this on LinkedIn. At which case, let's see. Doug Bowser, the president of Nintendo, came back and wrote, rather arrogant and entitled comment. Some people may be challenged moving to their seat, physical limitations, narrowness of seating areas, etc. That said, if a passenger should need to support themselves getting in/out of a seat, they should be gentle as they physically can. And then he wrote, P.S., where on the ticket purchase documentation are your rights to the seat back or other rules you speak of declared? At which point this guy came back at him and was like, entitled would be indicating you own everything, not elucidated on a ticket on contract. Manners are clear. Happy to help you out on them with this post. Seats are allocated by passenger, in fact, printed on all boarding passes. And then Bowser replied to that, saying, manners are different than rights. I do see the arrogance is still prevalent, however. Have yourself a good day, which is the internet equivalent of fuck your mother and fuck yourself.
Yeah.
At which point this fucking Chad deleted all of Doug Bowser's comments and blocked him.
Oh my God.
And now has like an addendum to his post saying, P.S. for the video game nerds who are visiting and greatly outraged, this would be like someone stealing your Harry Potter figurine or misplacing your quote-unquote loot. It just isn't done. And it's like, well, first off, no. You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
You're just saying things.
Also, I want to just point out here that Chad's profile pic, Michael, is a man in a hoodie wearing a blazer over the hoodie. So, you know, hey, Chad.
Holy shit. Your name is Chad and you look like that?
Yep.
What the fuck, dude?
Yep.
Also, people can't see his face, but he looks like a goblin.
He looks like a real piece of shit. He looks like a real unpleasant.
What does he do? What does he even do? I'm curious.
He's a partner at the place. He's a public affairs agent. He's a partner at a public affairs agency with professionals located in Toronto, Washington, D.C., London, Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, and Halifax. He helps CEOs, corporations, and industry associations face crisis head on, make their case, and get things approved.
That's a whole lot of nothing.
So he's
what you just read.
No, he's the guy that writes that bullshit that NetEase put out. It's just like, you know, as we move forward, we're still learning and growing and growing and learning and caring and receiving.
Oh my God! And he just got into a fight with the fucking head of a major corporation.
Doug Bowser, yep.
Holy shit, that's amazing.
Now, I will say that I went to his LinkedIn profile, and I don't know if he's just deleting everybody who's coming at him, but all the comments on that post are just like, yeah, you tell him, boss. Woo, I'm so tired of people touching the back of my seat. Yeah, how dare you? Fucking woo, preach, son. And I'm just like, all right, guys.
LinkedIn is just Facebook now, which is weird because I keep seeing that happening.
Yep.
Like, this was this is stupid. Stupid LinkedIn.
Yeah. Anyway, this was a silly thing, and I thought it was really funny, so I thought we would talk about it.
That's amazing.
Briefly. It's great. Don't come at Doug Bowser on LinkedIn. He'll make you look foolish, and then the Nintendo fanboys will descend. With that, we're going to go ahead and take a break. We come back, we're going to do trailers and wrap things up. So everybody stick around, and we'll see you in a minute. And one more push left to go, Michael.
Yep.
And then we're going to deliver this podcast, baby. This is a fun part, though, because we can just get to watch a bunch of trailers. We're going to start with, there was a new Multiverses trailer last week. They announced that the Joker was going to be in Multiverses.
This year.
And not just that, but Mark Hamill Joker, which I'm super excited about because it's my favorite Joker. And this week, we actually got a gameplay trailer where they actually showed off the Joker. I don't know about you. I was going to ask this as a question. I've played video games for a long time. Joker shows up in places. I'm kind of tired of this Joker, of the it's a mallet and a boxing glove pistol and
well, that's all they do with him nowadays.
Right. Just pulls a bunch of crap out of his pants and then hits people with it.
Honestly, I'm just kind of tired of Joker.
Yeah.
And in everything. I'm happy that he's in the game, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I kind of want other Batman villains to be in things. That'd be pretty cool. Two-Face.
Yep.
Or Clayface.
Yep.
Or Face.
Yep. Or who's the guy with the little marionette, like the puppet?
Scarface.
Yeah. He's cool.
I would love to have. I would love to have some shit with weird. I want the weirder villains. I want the Condiment King to show up randomly.
Wild Card Gang or whatever, what they're called, the Royal Flush Gang. Yeah.
We need more fun weirdo type characters and stuff.
Yeah.
And I know this is fighting game and Joker super popular, but I mean in other Batman stuff in general.
Yeah.
I feel like Batman needs to stop going back to Joker again over and over again.
Yeah.
He's not as interesting to me anymore because of it.
The one thing that was kind of interesting that we saw was an alternate costume for the Batman Who Laughs.
Yes. Which I thought was interesting. Also a new Harley outfit.
Oh yeah, which is like the
normal psychiatrist Harley.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of fun.
Is the Batman Who Laughs actually Joker?
No.
Oh. Okay, I didn't think that was the case, so I thought it was kind of weird that it was like a...
I think they just thought it was better to give him the outfit instead of it just being a Batman outfit, especially since he does weird shit.
And since he doesn't... I don't know. It's like I was going to say, because the Joker doesn't have a lot of outfits. Joker's plenty of outfits.
He's got a lot of
different outfits he could have done.
They show a few outfits here that he has.
I did notice they didn't do the one where he's stapled his own face back to his face or whatever.
Yeah. I would buy that in a heartbeat, don't get me wrong.
That was a little gruesome for Multiverse.
Yeah. That was one of the weirdest things the new 52 did with Joker.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm actually more excited about the other thing that came out of this. I don't know if you saw this, but there at the beginning of this trailer, they have the
list of characters.
Bat computer, and there's some characters in the upper right hand corner that have not yet been officially confirmed.
Oh,
and that would be the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, I heard about this.
Yeah, so you just see it doesn't have anything, but it was just a picture that had the 3 Powerpuff Girls with little things coming out behind them. I mean, that seems like a no-brainer.
Yes.
And
I wonder if there'll be a set, if you choose who they are, if they fight together. That's the interest. That's what makes me curious about those. 3.
Whether it's one of those ones where they flip between them, or whether they're just all 3 of them at the same time.
Yeah, it's a Pokemon trainer situation,
right?
Or like Bubbles, come back or whatever.
Right.
And it's just that would be fun.
Yeah. Weren't there supposed to be a Powerpuff Girls reboot or something that was supposed to come out?
There was a CW show.
Oh.
Although they are supposed to be making new ones of the old one.
Okay.
Because this is the weird thing about Powerpuff Girls is that they made a reboot show, an actual reboot cartoon that everybody hated.
Yeah.
It's really bad. It's really, really bad.
Okay.
And then they announced that Craig McCracken was going to come back to make new episodes of the old version.
Mm.
But while all that was happening, CW was working on a live action adult version of Powerpuff Girls.
Okay.
And the script leaked online. It was one of the worst things I've ever read in my life.
Wow. Okay.
And they filmed the whole thing, apparently. They filmed the whole first episode, but the executives didn't like it, luckily. And they were trying to rewrite it. And during that time frame, That's when the script leaked, and then everybody fucking hated it with a passion.
Right.
And then of course they're like, okay, we're just not going to do this anymore. That was going to have Donald Faison and all these people in it.
Weird.
It was insane. Like, it was supposed to be this weird, like, greedy version of it. It was really stupid.
Okay.
Look it up online when you guys get the chance. It's bad.
Let's see from there. Speaking of putting stuff in stuff, Dead by Daylight is getting Dungeons and Dragons crossover.
I don't know who they sold their soul to get all of these fucking crossovers. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, apparently the killer in this is like this lich that was a big deal in the last season of Stranger Things, Vecna.
Okay. Okay.
I watched season 1 of Stranger Things and then stopped. So
I never saw it, but I remember people talking about it on Twitter all the time.
There's plenty. I would have thought you would have wanted to go with something from like maybe Baldur's Gate 3, considering this is a video game and you want to like. But maybe they're trying to get like non-gamer, like Critical Role people or something.
I think the other idea is that this was probably in development before all that stuff probably happened.
Oh, before like Baldur's Gate 3 popped off?
Like they're probably already like thinking about it.
Yeah.
And Vecna, like you said, he was a big deal in Stranger Things, and that would have been before Baldur's Gate 3 came out too.
Yeah.
So it was probably already some discussions they had at that point.
Possibly. I don't know. There's also going to be like some bard character and then like a new map that's kind of D&D themed. But Michael, that's not the most interesting part. The most interesting part is the fact there's also going to be fucking Castlevania.
God damn it.
Castlevania did everything, but there are no new games.
I just want a game, guys.
No new games for you.
Castlevania would be really cool right about now.
V-Rising has Castlevania DLC.
Oh my god.
Dead by Daylight has Castlevania DLC.
This is like Mega Man all over again.
Don't you want some Castlevania DLC, Michael?
Do you remember that time frame when Mega Man was like, everything's Mega Man themed, but you're not getting any new Mega Man games because go fuck yourself.
Yeah, apparently it looks like the Dracula is going to be like Dracula from Castlevania is going to be one of the killers in Dead by Daylight.
I hope he gets his final form as something he can do, because that actually would be kind of terrifying if you made that work.
Yeah, we'll find out more about that on August 6th. I don't know. The rate at which Dead by Daylight puts out DLC, it's like, I think they're faster maybe even than Fortnite. No, Fortnite's probably the fastest, but
they're the fastest, but they're also not as detailed, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
because they have to make like blood and shit for these characters and stuff.
Right.
So that's what makes it a little different.
Yeah. Still though, fucking crazy.
No, yeah, the fact that we've already announced 2 back-to-back crossovers is fucking crazy to me.
Yeah.
And then they did the Nick Cage thing not that long ago. Mm-hmm. And then they had like
Chucky.
2 or 3 other killers at that point.
Yeah, they had Chucky. Then they had that weird kind of like monster, like had the skin suit saying like, I can't find my cat.
That
like
shit was fucking weird.
I liked that one a lot.
Unfortunately, the voice actor for that died apparently.
Oh, that
sucks. Had like a health issue.
Oh, well, it's a shame.
Yeah, big shame.
From there, speaking of Dead by Daylight, we got the full gameplay trailer for the casting of Frank Stone. This is the single-player spin-off game for Dead by Daylight.
Oh, you forget about that.
It's being made by Supermassive. And Michael, it is... it's just a Supermassive game. It's like Dead by Daylight or Until Dawn or The Quarry or any of those other ones. It's like it's a bunch of kids that are in this small town and they're going to this abandoned steel mill and they're going to shoot a horror movie there. And then it turns out, what is the killer that killed here still alive? Are they still here? But like when you look at the faces and the character models and stuff, it's like, this is just Supermassive. Like,
they're very detailed faces.
It's just these like motion capture and very detailed, and these guys have got this shit down to a science. The question is just like, is it a good one or is it a bad one? Because they're not all good. They're not all worth playing.
I'm hoping with some guidance from the Dead by Daylight team, that this is gonna this has a chance of being pretty good. Because this is the thing I will give the Dead by Daylight guys a lot of credit for, is the backstories they write for their killers are legitimately very interesting.
Yes. So hopefully with they give them a good framework. And also there's a lot more supernatural shit in Dead by Daylight, because it's like they're putting the people on the weird bone spike thing. So there's like, it's not just like, oh, it's H.H. Holmes, but animatronics. It's like, no, there's actual like magic and demons and shit in this world. So
yeah, they're allowed to be fucked up, and I think that's what makes it the most interesting.
Yeah, I agree. So I will be interested in checking that out when it comes out. Is there a release date on this? I don't think there's a release date yet. Oh no.
Just wishlist.
Just wishlist. Coming 2024. So
it's probably end of the year, maybe.
Probably.
I'd be surprised that they're shooting for October.
It would be nice if it was in October.
Yeah. I hope so.
Let's see. From there, we got the full announcement trailer for, I talked about this last week, Master Detective Archives Raincode Plus. So Master Detective Archives Raincode was the Switch game from the guy that made Danganronpa.
It was the one with the sexy ghost lady or whatever,
the booby
right?
ghost, yes. Yeah. Shinigami, the booby ghost, and then you'll never believe it, but there's like 8 different types of detectives. And so it's like the animal detective and like the sound detective and like the time detective and the ghost detective, which is exactly what Danganronpa is with like the master of this or the ultimate this, the ultimate that. I'm a little excited for this because the game looks a lot better.
It looks obviously. That was one of the reasons I didn't even try to do it on the Switch, because I knew it would probably run bad.
Yeah. And it did. It had long load times. And also, when Bryce and I played it, apparently we did the RageSelect thing where we stopped like 5 minutes before it got really, really interesting.
Okay.
But yeah, it looks good. Apparently, it's going to have like there's some DLC that was in the original that's going to be baked in, and they're going to have like, listen to the soundtrack mode, and also all the games or all the graphics look better because they're going to be on modern consoles as opposed to a Nintendo Switch, as opposed to a glorified iPad.
I'm happy for them, to be honest.
Yeah, I hope that it gets a new life. I mean, I don't know. It seems weird to me that the person who made Danganronpa put out a game with a big booby ghost, and that like I haven't heard about it since it came out.
I never even heard if it was good. I never heard if it was bad. Like, no one really talked about it.
Yeah.
Which is weird because, when Danganronpa came out, that's all anybody would talk about.
Yep. So
you got animes, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah. So I don't know. Hopefully it gets a little bit of a resurgence. And that's coming out. When is that coming out? It's like very soon. October. Oh no, it's October 1st. Not very soon. It's coming out in October.
That's still soon. It's soonish.
Yeah. Oh God. Looking at the box art for this is giving me PTSD because it was hell to make a thumbnail for. I'd like move people all around and shit. Let's see. From there, we got the launch trailer for Cryptmaster. It was a weird trailer week, Michael, so there's some strange stuff in here. This is a game that I've known about for a little while that's like a first-person kind of medieval fantasy game that's all black and white, but the big thing about it is that it's all typing-based for attacking. So, like, your individual characters have like specific letters and names, and you'll come across like enemies where it'll say like, oh, if you hit G, then like the guy has like a shield with a giant G on it. If you use G, it'll block them, or you'll type like the word to guard or do a thing. Like, it's kind of an interesting concept, kind of a typing of the dead almost, but like medieval fantasy and weird.
I'm a big fan of shit like that, though. That's the funny thing about keyboard games is there's so many fun things you can just do with the keyboard that I feel like people aren't taking advantage of.
Yeah.
And I think this is a fun thing to do.
Yeah, I wanted to check it out. There's a demo that's currently out on Steam, but it's also got a very kind of striking art style that's kind of black and white, very high contrast. Everything's kind of like sketchy looking, sort of. But yeah, it's an interesting concept. I don't know. There's so many things that are out right now that I want to play on RageSelect that I don't know if we can get all of them in there, but I definitely have this one kind of like sitting around just in case we get a chance to look at it. Was that one you and I played, that Deadly Delusion?
Yeah.
You ever played for Patreon? That was so weird.
So strange.
It was such a weird game.
But we ended up kind of having some fun with it after a while.
Yeah. Don't listen to the guy that tells you your rusty sword doesn't work.
God, that thing just was murdering everything.
Let's see. From there, in other horror news, we got a brief teaser for Amanda the Adventurer 2. Amanda the Adventurer, do you remember that? It was like you were looking at a TV that had like a bad CG like 90s edutainment thing, but it was also like kind of a horror game. One of the things I was thinking about is like whenever a company is able to do these like throwback low detail, low poly games, boy, they could crank out a sequel when they need to, because I think End of the Adventure came out last year, and there's a demo coming on Steam Next Fest June 10th through the 17th, and then this is all supposed to be out this year. So
okay,
I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. It's going to be a really big year for indies.
Yeah, with everything going on, indie games are going to be there's going to be where everything is.
Yes,
and I don't know if that's good or bad. We'll see how it goes.
So far, I think it's been pretty good. Like, there's been a lot of interesting stuff.
True.
A lot like this Mullet Mad Jack came out this week. This is like a speedy first-person shooter that is very much all in the style of a kind of gonzo 90s anime, like gonzo 90s like ultra-violent anime.
Oh, okay.
But it's like a time-based thing where you have like 15 seconds, then every time you kill somebody, it adds like 3 seconds back to the clock.
Oh, okay.
And it's also, I think, a roguelike with a series of, I don't know. I remember I've been watching it for a long time, and I played the demo for it at one point, and it's just like bug nuts, and I love it. Like, it's so colorful and violent and horrible and just like in your face.
Yeah, it's gorgeous to look at.
Yeah, and that's out now on the PC. So we're definitely gonna have to check that one out at some point, because it just looks amazing. I mean, you could kick people into fans, they turn to red mist. That's some Bulletstorm shit right there, man.
Yep.
I'm all about it.
I love his design too.
Yeah, the main character with the kind of like weird late 80s sunglasses and like Miami Vice white coat and
his
shit.
gun is like borderline a RoboCop pistol too.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Go check it out. Yeah, let's see from there. This is ridiculous, and I put it in here to laugh at. Overwatch 2, in their desire to have crossovers with stuff, is doing a crossover, Michael, with Porsche.
Oh, what the absolute fuck?
This crossover is skins for Diva and Farah, and both of their mech suits are like, they're totally Porsche'd out with like the Porsche logo and like the red and black and gray color scheme, and like there's one point in this trailer where Diva shows the inside of the mech, and it's like, oh, it's all plush like the inside of a Porsche, and I'm like, does anybody give a shit about this? What is this? Like,
it's for the working man, Jeff. How they love Porsches.
I understood when it was K-pop. I really did.
Yeah. Well, K-pop makes sense for general audiences. Who the fuck cares about Porsche anymore?
I don't know. Like, everything is very Porsche centric. There's like sprays and the outfits and stuff. And it's just like, what? Why?
I know someone who's named after a Porsche, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked with somebody whose name was Portia.
Oh, okay.
And she's like, no, that's exactly what it sounds like. That's what my father named me. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, not like Portia.
Yeah, that's literally like spelled like Porsche, except it's got an A at the end. But that's because some people pronounce Porsche as Portia.
Okay.
And so that's her actual like legal name.
Yeah, the opening part of this little teaser is the two of them racing. It's the two of them boosting basically through a level like they're racing, and it's just like, it doesn't have anything to do with it. Could you guys have done like a Forza or Gran Turismo crossover? I mean, I guess those probably already have Porsches in them. But
yeah, but this is like the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? What?
The real question, Michael, is this better or worse than the Cowboy Bebop DLC?
Depends on what your thoughts are on the Spike thing.
Oh, yeah.
That was still one of the weirdest things I've ever seen.
Yep. Definitely. Let's see from there. How about something that looks cool? There's a gameplay trailer for a PlayStation game that's coming out called Kyborg, like cyborg, but K-I-Borg.
Okay.
This is like some like super throwback PS2, like kind of like brawling third person, but like zoomed out third person.
This
so
looks
can, like,
great.
See stuff. Looks like it's like ultra violent. You got this generic fucking shaved head guy. There's like guns, there's melee, and then there's apparently like a whole cyborg system where you can like kit yourself out and you could do like crazy combos, and it's like super violent and super blood splattering everywhere, and I'm just like, what is this? I love this. I want this. What is this?
I love this because this is I'm going to bring up Hi-Fi Rush. It reminds me of the types of games we got during the PS2 Dreamcast era.
Right.
That is just like, let's just do something fucking weird.
PS2, early PS3. Yeah. Just kind of like God hand kind of shit.
Yeah. I love those games. I want more of them, and I'm happy that somebody is listening to us.
Yeah. I don't know if this has a release date yet, but it does look pretty cool.
It looks fun.
It's also rated mature, which I'm glad for.
Hell yeah.
Because, let me hit a guy in the face with a cyborg arm that turns his head into pulp. Like, I'm a grown 45-year-old man. That's what I want in my life. Is dudes turning into a red mist when I hit them in a video game.
Porsche Overwatch games and bloody murder things.
Yes. Is there a Porsche skin that I can have? Also, there's this one skin in here. I don't know if you noticed it. Like, there's this one skin. That last skin looks almost identical to the Crisis armor.
No, yeah, it does.
With the like muscle fiber.
That was one of my first thoughts about it. I really like this idea a lot. I hope it plays really well.
Yeah. I mean, the trailer at least looks like it runs really smoothly, and there's no good reason why it should run like anything but butter.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like these characters are super detailed or anything.
God, please be great.
Yeah. Go check it out, everybody.
Don't disappoint me, Gabe. I'm watching you.
Let's see. We got the launch trailer for Homeworld 3. Michael's played Homeworld 3. By the way, the launch trailer for Homeworld 3 has that cutscene that we skipped over.
Oh, it does?
It explains why the ship is all fucked up at the end of part 2 for Homeworld 3.
Yeah, we skipped a cutscene not knowing it would, like, show some insane damage that we're like, what happened?
It'd be like the most exciting thing that happened in the game.
Yeah. It's the worst time to skip, apparently.
Yeah. This game has been getting, I don't know, like weird. It's weirdly controversial. Fans of the original don't seem to like it all that much, but then, like... not to be derogatory or anything, Michael, but like fans of the original don't like anything, right? People who like part 1 don't like part 2 or part 3. Some people on the forums for Homeworld 3, they're like, don't even play the second one. Just play the first one over and over again for the rest of your life. The second one's not as good as the first one. I'm just like, what a horrible life you lead.
Well, there's Willie, that quote from Willie where they're just like, it's like those Homeworld 2 fans ruin Homeworld.
Right.
It's like, you Homeworld fans are very strange.
Yeah, apparently. But I don't know. I had a good time when we played it. So
yeah, no, like I get the idea about it, but yeah, it was never going to live up to anybody's expectations.
Yeah. I mean, apparently it needs some work. So, hey, maybe if you're a fan of Homeworld, maybe give it like a few years to get fixed and then buy it on sale for $20 on a Steam summer sale, right?
Okay.
Everything always goes down eventually.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, if it's not worth $60, maybe it'll be worth $20 with 2 years worth of patches. Yeah. Speaking of tactics, no, I don't even want to do this. This is Men of War 2. It's just like an online World War II kind of like tactics game that you play. I don't know.
The Men of War.
The Men of War, yeah. What I really want to talk about is Drug Dealer Simulator 2.
Oh my God, they made a sequel?
Yeah. And this one, you have combat. You can go out there and you can punch people in the face. You can grab your weapons and you just run up to dudes and start hammering them. I put this on the list because I thought that this was Weed Shop Simulator 2, because I played that Weed Shop Simulator.
That one,
but I don't think I've ever actually played Drug Dealer Simulator. I know I played, what was the one that you and I played that was like...
we played the cafe one, the online cafe.
Internet cafe simulator.
I think that one was a sequel too or something.
Yes.
When Donald Trump tried to run out without paying.
Donald Trump didn't want to pay for his time on the internet, so he had to chase him down the street.
That was
fucking magical. Patreon.com/RageSelect.
Yeah, that was a strange video.
It's a strange game. This genre of quote unquote simulator games is just weird.
Yeah,
like
I both love and hate it. It's very strange.
Yeah, but I don't know how much I have to really say about this, except it's coming out on the June 20th. So there you go. We got a 4-minute overview for The Crush House. I don't know if people remember this, but this is the reality TV show that Devolver put out for April Fool's Day. That's an actual game. And they kind of went into specifics about how the game works, which is pretty cool. Apparently, there's 4 people in the house, but there's 12 contestants, and you get to choose which 4 come on.
Oh, okay.
And then you have your audience wants to see certain audiences want to see specific things. So you have audiences that want to see like fights, and audiences that want to see butts specifically. Like there's a butts audience where they just want to see butts. Apparently at night when the show isn't running, the contestants will ask you if you can do stuff, and you can choose to do stuff or not do stuff, but you want to try to keep like the producers happy and the cast happy and the audience happy all at the same time by kind of filling up the different meters. Like sometimes the cast will be like, hey, there are too many butts on this show. Can you not film butts tomorrow?
Okay.
But those are the different audience types. So you can see at the top, you've got like these meters for your different audience types. And then as you film certain things, it like the peach is the butt, right? Like it ups the meters for those specific things. But then also there's an element where like none of the contestants remember that they were on this show before, and they're all drinking this weird green energy drink. And also if you go down a slide, there's like this weird basement. But then also there's commercials. So you get money in this game by running commercials. Like it lowers your audience, but it raises the money you get. And the commercials are all being done by other Devolver companies.
Oh, that's fun.
So like they showed one of them, like I don't remember this one. Let's see where they show them. Yeah, so this is content warning. Is like the little house from content warning. Sky Homes, upward there are no problems. Or there's this other one that's just like an ass. And this is that Baby Steps game. It's the ass of the guy from Baby Steps. Or Space Overlord Organ Trader. Or Piku Niku. And so it's like, oh, that's a fun concept.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Because I'm sure those guys can crank out like, a little 20-second commercial. It's just like you're not watching it.
You're also selling your other games at the same time.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of fun.
And then they have this whole system of personalities and how they get along together and this kind of matrix and stuff, so you can see different stuff. It's a really good idea for a game. Like it's a really interesting idea for a game because it's got a lot of different things. The real question is just, is it fun to do all these things? Or is the story compelling enough to get you to do stuff? So
that's a great idea.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. Let's see. And I think that's supposed to be coming out at some point this year. We don't have a direct date yet, but you can go check that out if you want to see the specifics. Let's see. Next up, we got an update for a Highland song called the Harmony content update. It's got a bunch of new songs. This is that really, really, really well animated game where you're like traipsing across the Scottish Highlands to music, and it's kind of a rhythm game, but you're also exploring. So they've got some new updates, some new surprises, some new songs that are going to be in the game. Yeah, go take a look. Tessa and I played it if you would like to see what the game is like. It seemed perfectly charming, just a little bit too gentle for my particular taste. So
I get that.
Yeah. And then let's see from there, Michael, your favorite game, Foam Stars, is getting an update. I was going to cut this, but here's the thing. Check out this update, Michael. This is the Future Funk new season that includes a bunch of new skins that are like costumes and a new level that's like a haunted house. I believe that Square Enix is getting ready to shut down Foam Stars.
Oh, no, of course they are.
Because this is obviously the Halloween update.
Yeah.
And it should not be coming out in like June.
Yeah, there's no reason for this to be a haunted area.
Yeah.
A haunted circus.
Yes.
Like, no.
It doesn't make any sense, right? Like, it only makes sense if it's like, put out whatever you have. You've got 90 days, and then we're going to shut this thing down. Like,
they're absolutely going to fucking shut this thing down. There's no way. There's no. What the yeah, because there was all the new stuff where they're like, it didn't meet all these things didn't meet expectations. And one of the tweets about when they said Foam Stars didn't meet expectations, or somebody went, "This thing game came out."
Yeah.
Like, what is wrong? Like, nobody really cared about it.
Oh, sorry.
And two, people didn't even know it came out.
Mid-May. It's out now. It's already out.
It's going to be out. Okay.
It's out as of this recording.
Oh my god. Wow, Foam Stars is dead.
Yeah.
It was dead on arrival, though. Everybody knew that. And
they made it free for PS Plus, and nobody played it anyway.
Yeah, and I remember them being like, "Don't compare us to a way better game." By the way,
right?
Like, we're not like that better games. Like, yeah, you're just making it worse for yourself, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, Foam Stars is terrible.
They should have embraced the idea. People would have had more fun with the idea.
Yeah. I don't know.
It was a bad idea from the get-go.
It was a bad idea.
Oh, my God.
It's just the aesthetic is too much, and, like, the gameplay. Why would I play this when I could play Splatoon? Like, why would I do that? Skateboarding on foam doesn't seem as fun as going into ink as a squid.
Yeah, and also, like, the foam just isn't as interesting as an idea as, like, paint.
Yep.
I don't know. Like, the whole idea just sounded dumb from the get-go.
Yep. Agreed. Let's see. And almost last, we got a new official release date trailer for the Rogue Prince of Persia. So we're recording this on the 16th. The Rogue Prince of Persia was supposed to be out today. It is not out today.
Oh.
It is coming out next week instead. Or it's coming out on the 27th instead of the 16th.
Yeah, it's a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Well, it's a couple weeks from when we're recording.
Yeah.
Like
a week and a weekend, basically.
Yeah, a week and some change.
Yeah.
For when this is out.
Did you read why this happened?
No, I didn't.
Okay, it's actually amazing. The reason why this happened was because, and the developers came out and they said this specifically, was they were like, we're doing this because Hades 2 came out last week.
Oh,
and we want people to have time to enjoy both games, and we don't want to put out our game adversarially to Hades 2. Also, it gives us an extra week to fix some bugs and do some integration of like bug fixes directly into the game. So it'll be a better game when it comes out, not having to have a patch.
good for them. Good for them.
I really hope this one works out and it's fun. Like the art style, I'm a little like cool on a little, but if it's fun, who gives a shit?
Yeah, I love his design.
Yeah,
his design is one of my favorite things about it. So I'm hoping this ends up good.
Yes. It's supposed to be out the 14th, so that's supposed to be out 2 days before we did this. Now it's out May 27th. There was also a really fun quote from the developer. He said, okay, so here's the quote for the original one. Everyone their mama's playing Hades 2. It's not every day that a game in the same genre as you, which is one of the most anticipated upcoming games of 2024, released in early access a week before you plan to do the same. We're not prideful enough to ignore the implications of that. But then he went on to say, if Silk Song Shadow drops in the next 2 weeks, I'm burning the whole thing down.
I love that he's willing to be like, look, guys, I'm not having this fight. I'm not going to end up like fucking Battleborn against Overwatch's beta.
Yeah.
This is not how I go down.
Yes. Yeah, we realize that it's a tricky proposition, and the last thing we want to do is come out when there's direct competition.
Yeah, so. It'll not end well for them.
Yeah. Yeah. And then let's finish up. They put some new stuff on Switch Online. 3 Game Boy games, to be specific.
Okay.
Super Mario, the Game Boy Mario, Super Mario Land. A very weird game. A very strange game.
It's always been a strange one.
Yeah.
Because it looks weird as hell.
It's like, there's Koopas, but they aren't shell. When you hit them, they turn into bombs. Or like you've got like instead of fireballs, you like throw like a ball at an angle.
Yeah.
And like that ball can like pick up coins. Like it's
weird. A strange game.
And then there's like the airplane levels and you're like, what?
And it's the first game with Daisy in it, by the way. A lot of people forget that.
Also Alleyway, which is just Arkanoid.
Yeah.
It was
neat, I guess.
I feel sad about the person who had to make the little gameplay clip for this because it's just like it's fucking Arkanoid, man.
It's exciting to play the Alleyway. Super exciting.
Nintendo Baseball.
Well, that's kind of neat, I guess.
Which, I'm sure somebody has love for. I don't know. I like to see the old green and black games coming back.
I love a show like that, yeah. And I'm glad that Mario Land 1 is on there because Mario Land 2 has been on there for a while.
Yeah. So, yeah. Let's see. Let's finish it up. We've got a few other things left to go. Game Pass is going to put some new stuff on. And we talked about how Game Pass isn't making any money, but it sure is a goddamn good value.
Yeah.
They're adding... So we already knew that Hellblade 2 was coming to Game Pass. They already put that Chants of Sonar game, which was like... Tessa and I played it. It was like a... people compare it a little bit to Golden Idol, where you like talk to people and they have words, but you don't know what the words mean, so you have to figure them out. So it's kind of an adventure game where you're trying to figure out this language at the same time that you're trying to figure out what happened in the world.
That's interesting.
An interesting game. Also, I believe Immortals of Avium.
The Gangbuster seller.
Yeah.
Immortals of Avium.
Yeah. I saw them promoting it on the Xbox Twitter account. I was like, I don't know if this is in bad taste or not. Like, those guys, did that studio get shut down or at least like drastically reduced?
100%. Also, I think that's the most advertising that game has gotten.
Yeah.
Probably since the PlayStation Plus thing.
Let's see. We also are getting Galacticare, which is some kind of like space theme hospital deal. Haunty, Hauntii, which is a kind of a ghost adventure game. Moving Out 2. Did you and I play Moving Out 2?
We did. Yeah.
And then, strangely enough, on May 30th, did you know that Humanity is coming to Xbox?
Really?
Yeah. That was a timed exclusive, so Humanity is going to be out other places.
Good for them, I guess.
And then, let's see, Lords of the Fallen is coming at some point as well, the remake that came out last year. So, and then also, Firework and Rolling Hills, those are for June. So,
gotcha.
But, yeah, I mean, Game Pass got a lot of shit on it. Yeah. If you wait long enough, it might just show up on Game Pass. So, I don't know. Go check it out. Okay. Marathon is out on Steam and it's free. This is that Marathon remake project.
Oh, okay.
That was done with Bungie's blessing because they don't give a shit anymore. It kind of redoes the UI. It used to be that the UI was a full frame where the game itself took place in like 80% of the screen and the rest of the screen was a giant UI.
Oh, okay.
And they've redone it to be in the corner. Also, this team announced that Marathon 2 and then the third Marathon game are also going to be eventually ported over using the same methods. But
good for them.
Whether they sell the second and third one, you can at least get the first one on Steam for free and go replay a classic. I never played Marathon.
I did once, and I really liked it at the time. And because my friend had it, because it was one of those things where we were discussing Halo, and he's like, "Do you want to see Marathon?" I was like, I did, because I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
And he showed it to me, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of neat." Because it was one of those things. Because the way we found out about it was because they used it for Red versus Blue for one part. Because there's a part where Church gets like teleported somewhere, and he ends up in Marathon.
Oh, okay.
And I remember going like, "What the fuck is that?" And that's how he was like, "Oh, this Marathon." And then he had showed it to me right after that.
Interesting.
And didn't they cancel the live service one they were doing?
It got pushed back to 2025.
Okay, I thought they canceled it for some reason.
Yeah,
that's why I was surprised that they let them do this.
Yeah. Well, it's like I think Bungie knows enough to be like, what it would be bad PR to fuck with it. And what are we going to... It's not like they're taking the trademark or anything. We already are making a new Marathon. So, why not just let them do it and keep the candle burning? Bungie does not need any more negative publicity at this point in their life.
No, they really don't. So, yeah. Good for them.
Also, that Sony game Concord... That it was like a live service game that was announced like last year as when one of their the May 2023 PlayStation Showcase.
Does ring a bell.
Very sparse. It was very sparse. It was like a live service game that was going to be an online kind of multiplayer thing. It was where they announced the Marathon game originally. But this game now has a release window of 2024. So, it's actually coming out this year, which is the first time we've heard anything more about it. I actually don't think there's even I don't think there was actually anything...
new the show?
Well, I don't think there was any actual, footage. It was announced, and it was very kind of stylistic. I was trying to find the original trailer. Mortals of Avium. Oh, yeah. Concord.
I vaguely remember.
It's from Firewalk Studios.
I'm trying to remember what that trailer looked like.
It was mostly just on a ship, I think. It was on a spaceship that was kind of flying through. I don't think there was anything that approximated actual gameplay. It was this kind of damn, IGN, your player fucking sucks. So it's the inside of a ship, and it's kind of going through hyperspace, and it's got this kind of weird like stuff rattling around, falling off tables. But there wasn't
I remember
any,
this now. Yeah, because everybody was like, "What is this?" Because it looked kind of cool because it was the space thing.
Yeah,
and then they were like, "Oh, this is like a live service game."
Right.
Everybody immediately deflated right after that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I remember being like, "This looks really cool," and then I was like, "Well, fuck."
And then nah. Let's see. Ron Gilbert's got a new game
That's
that he's making called what's it called? Oh, I don't know if it has a name yet. Let's see. But apparently it's like a mashup of like Zelda and Diablo and like Thimbleweed Park all at the same time.
Oh, that's fun.
And there's like a single screenshot for it that has a character that looks an awful lot like Guybrush Threepwood, but like a little pixel version.
Yeah.
I don't know. After all the shit that man got from the Monkey Island game that they made, was it like last year?
Yeah,
year before?
like that, yeah.
I really do hope that this will be fun. He brought on somebody that worked on what was it? Let me make sure I got the names here. Alyssa Black, who made a game called Objects in Space, is on as basically like somebody to work on quest structure and things like that.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, hopefully good stuff.
It was on Mastodon.
Yeah. You know, that new platform that we all use, it's not Twitter.
Yeah. That all the people use. I completely forgot that was another one that happened, by the way.
Are you too busy on Blue Sky?
Well, yeah, I do have Blue Sky, but even then I barely used it.
Yeah. What was the one that Facebook tried to do?
Oh.
Like Notes or
Threads.
Threads.
That's still around. This is an Instagram spinoff.
Oh, okay.
That's the way of putting it.
Great.
I still get like notifications like somebody posted on Threads that you might like. I'm like, oh yeah, that is a thing. Completely forgot about that.
For anybody that liked Stray Gods, the musical game about the Greek gods, they're putting out a DLC for the Orpheus character specific to kind of spin off to. So they've got like brand new songs and a brand new story and brand new art and stuff. I don't know. I always hope that game went well. It wasn't really my cup of tea because it was just a visual novel that also happened to be a musical.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Hopefully,
problem is we live in a world where Hades exists when it comes to Greek things.
Right.
So I'm not as interested in the rest of you guys.
Man, the second boss in Hades 2, people will know what I'm talking about, but I'll be vague about it. Their theme is a song with lyrics. And so you just listen to it's so fucking catchy. Every time I play in a video and it stops and it says that Hades 2 thing, it's that fucking song because I was listening to it on repeat last week when I was drunk because it got so stuck in my head. I was like, I gotta get it out. I gotta listen to it until I'm sick of it.
It's never gonna happen, Jeff.
No.
Especially since you have to keep hearing it when you fight.
Yep. Michael, good news for you. A release date has finally been set for the second Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh, God.
It is coming out in late 2025. I know you can't wait. Contain yourself, man. This is a family show. Please put your pants back on. It's fine. This movie sucks. It's the same guy that did the first one. That one sucked, too.
That sucked. I hated that fucking movie.
You know the thing I can't believe is that it was like that movie came out, and I think we were kind of past that point, but I vaguely remember seeing people online that were like, the movie doesn't suck, you suck. And I'm like, no, it does suck. Go watch it. It's horrible.
Terrible movie where the character's literal power is plot armor.
Yeah. And not even good plot armor.
It was so
bad plot armor. Goro looked like shit.
Everybody looked terrible.
Oh. Actually, here's another thing. Here, let me entice you further with all these arguments that I'm making. Apparently, I didn't know this. Apparently, in this new Mortal Kombat movie, Johnny Cage is going to be in it. He's going to be played by Carl Urban.
Oh, you forgot about that?
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I'm like, isn't Carl Urban too old to play Johnny Cage?
Yeah, he's also really old. Yeah. Not really old, but he's much older than the actors who play everybody else is.
How old is Carl Urban?
He's got to be in his 50s by now.
He's 51.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. He's not Johnny Cage. Well, he could be like washed up old Johnny Cage.
Yeah, that could work, but what a weird decision.
But why? Johnny Cage is amazing. Why would you do that to Johnny Cage?
I'm generally not looking forward to this movie.
I like Carl Urban too, but I don't want to see him as Johnny Cage.
I like Carl Urban a lot, but if you made Carl Urban Johnny Cage like 20 years ago, I would have been very excited about that, or maybe even 10 years ago. But now, no.
Yeah, I don't understand why. Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Why would you do that?
Every decision in that movie makes me violently upset, especially the champions thing.
Oh yeah,
You can't use powers unless you're a champion.
right.
It's like, why is Sonya Blade not one of your champions? This movie's stupid.
Why didn't the armor turn him into Scorpion? Since Sub-Zero was like the main antagonist in that movie, like then it would have. Or wait, wasn't that at the end he fought Sub-Zero?
He does, and then somehow it summons Scorpion
or something
because he's Scorpion descendant. It's a stupid fucking movie.
It's a stupid movie. Anyway, speaking of movies that are less stupid, Star Wars is a thing that people like, and somebody last week has they haven't put it out, but they're working on a mod that basically turns Helldivers 2 into the 501st like Clone Wars division. So the 4 main characters are all skinned out in different Clone Wars skins, and then they've even put a bunch of skins on the robots to make them into like droids from Star Wars. Looks pretty good. Like,
it's a fun idea.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how well it actually plays out when you see like a full game.
Yeah. It's also not like widely available at the moment. So
luckily, no.
Yeah.
Or unfortunately, it depends on who you talk to.
Oh, they actually made the ships so they look like clone trooper ships instead of
I think it's really exciting though, because people love that shit.
Yeah,
and people want to be part of the Clone Wars.
Yeah, and it's not like there's a multiplayer Star Wars game that anybody cares about.
Yeah, no.
EA made 2 of them.
no one plays any of those, or the re-releases for that matter.
True. Let's see. Speaking of weird game mods, I found this, Michael. Okay, this is the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. Somebody made a mod for Hearts of Iron 4. The like World War II strategy game where every time you start a new turn, there is a 1% chance that one of the characters from Five Nights at Freddy's will jump up and scream in your face. And I believe that it's game over if that happens.
What the fuck?
And I don't know what happened, but like I saw some comments where people were like, I forgot I installed this mod, and I was like 200 turns in, and then Freddy Fazbear yelled in my face, and it was game over, and I was like, "What the fuck, man?"
I love everything about that. That's my favorite reaction to a mod that somebody deliberately did, by the way.
Yeah, it was like, wait, what? Why? So
I'm always surprised when people do shit like that. Like, but that's my favorite thing about PC gaming.
Yep.
Is somebody looks at a game and goes, "Why won't I do that?" It's like,
why shouldn't it have Five Nights at Freddy's?
Freddy Fazbear who will auto game over you 400 turns in.
Yep.
Because fuck you. That's why.
That's it. Yep. Yeah.
Oh my God. I love you weird PC gamer people.
Well, here's another PC gamer. I talked about this before with somebody else, but the guy that was trying to make his there was a crazy guy on Twitch, and he was trying to make a controller for Baldur's Gate 3 that was the little D20 that's like a plot element in the game.
Okay.
And what he did was he made he's called Rudism. He didn't have it. Doesn't have it on his YouTube channel. I think it's just on his Twitch channel. Nope, that's a different one. God damn it! Where's the link to this?
Probably
thing?
higher up.
Let's see. No, these are other controllers. Rudism. Is this the Twitch channel? Nope. This is him beating Hades with a pomegranate.
What the fuck?
Turn a pomegranate into a thing. Twitch. There we go. So what he's done is he made a controller. Okay, well, never mind. You can't even fucking see it here.
It's in the
I know. It's in this TikTok. So he made this controller that is this 20-sided die. TikTok, you need to stop fucking with me. Okay, I'm just trying. Okay, there it is. So it's like a giant 20-sided die, and each side is a different button, and it even has like gyros in it, so you can use it to control the camera and the character movement by holding down a button and then like tilting it in a direction and stuff. And it's like the size of a grapefruit or a small grapefruit. The original is like the size of like a dice. It's like a little thing.
Yeah.
But this way, it actually works. And he like did the whole thing. And last time I saw, he was working on getting the buttons to work. We finally got it working. He's now playing through Baldur's Gate 3 with this weird ass controller.
That's amazing.
Even though he painted it, but it's still like doesn't look like the actual thing in the game is like doesn't have hot neon orange 3D printed parts on it.
I think it's to make sure he doesn't lose it.
Yeah. But it's such an interesting project. Like, it's a crazy project. So yeah, go check it out.
I'm a big fan of how creative the internet has made people.
Oh, you know what? The one in the game is similar. It's a little smaller, but not that.
It's like a size of there. Yeah, like an orange.
Yeah.
Small orange.
Colors still aren't right, though.
No.
Just get Nerd Forge into that shit. And last but not least, Michael, big Bloodborne news. You can buy some merch. Made some Bloodborne merch.
Of course, there's more merch.
Bloodborne merch. Bunch of overpriced shit. I gotta say, they have this pocket watch that's based on the Astral Clock Tower, and it looks like the little Astral Clock Tower. It's pretty fucking cool.
It is pretty cool, actually.
$169 is a little too cool for my taste.
Well, it depends on how often you'll use it.
I have a phone, so I don't need a pocket watch.
That's fair.
They also have some like leather shoes that have a little buckle on the top that I think hides the laces that are in them because they're just like regular boots.
Yeah.
And then they've got some. This is one I was actually kind of looking at, even though they're all like $150. These nice like black leather gloves that have the little like one of the little Bloodborne seals on the back of it. It's pretty cool. So yeah.
Leather gloves, like super really fancy leather gloves, are that expensive to begin with usually.
Yeah.
So
this is from Super Groupies is the name of the place that's making this stuff. How about Bloodborne, an actual game I can buy? With that, we're done. Michael, tell the people where they can find you when you're not over here. I think I got to make these shows shorter again. I made them into these 3 parts, and I don't know how to make them shorter. I got to make them shorter.
It's difficult.
Because I'm starting to fall asleep at the end of every podcast.
You can find me on OneOfUs.net. We do a lot of movie television reviews. My last review should still be The Fall Guy at this point. But next week, I'm going to be watching Furiosa, so we'll have that up soon.
Even though I'm not, I could just go watch it in a theater, but I don't want to do that. I want to do that. Yeah, now if you'll excuse me, I've got to go check out that computer with a VPN for no reason. No reason at all. Stop looking at me. Get out of my house, and we'll talk to you next week.